Welcome to Statesman, the podcast where we explore all 50 states with our five senses. If you've come here for history, we'll give you some. But most of this is half-baked opinion that is never intended to harm or offend anyone. Today, we paint a picture of a cold asshole. Having a cold asshole is embarrassing. It means your asshole has been stuck out into the wind just a little bit too long. Normally, when I have a cold asshole, I identify the problem, face my faults, and pull my pants up. Slowly, but readily, my once cold asshole becomes warm again. Unfortunately for this 48,430 square mile frigid fanny, it refuses to see to it time and time again that maybe it's time to give up and say, I was wrong for sticking my ass in the cold winter air and I'm sorry. Ever since white dandruff landed on this once clean and warm puckered button of the derriere, the Magnolia State quickly became one of the hot centers of the slave-worked cotton industry and vehemently declined to see its deep moral pitfalls as it declared itself to be the second state to secede from the Union. Even after Confederate forces were defeated and the agricultural economy bottomed under, the hospitality state's asshole continued to chill and stink up the United States with racial segregation, white supremacy, and somewhere between it all, they were the last to allow people to drink again after Prohibition. Agriculture was decimated by a plague of boll weevil, floods, and drought. The government refused to invest in public education and other civil services like healthcare, and it was only until 1995 that the state symbolically ratified the 13th Amendment, which was adopted 130 years before. But it wasn't until 2013 that they decided to notify the federal archivists that it happened. Today, MIS, SIS, SIPPI is the poorest state with the highest infant mortality rate in the United States. But by valor at arms, we welcome you to Mississippi. I'm your older statesman, Tim Ferrari, along with my junior statesman, Anthony Rossi. And Stuart Highcar.
Anyone up for a game of Mississippi Knuckle?
Wow.
All right, two very different directions on an introduction. And I'm going to be 100% honest. Tim, your intro was both somehow so blue and also so dark. But Anthony, I thought you were about to spell ISIS in the middle of Mississippi.
I'm pretty sure he did a couple of times.
Unintentional.
Yeah, you don't want to say anything about that. Anthony, how you doing, buddy? You look good.
I'm great. I'm well rested. I had a wonderful weekend. It's my 4-year anniversary with my girlfriend, Sydney. And we just got back from a lovely staycation in downtown Chicago at the Kimpton Monaco Hotel.
What room? What room number?
1414.
Whoa.
Riverview, which really translated to a clean view of the Trump Tower, which was pretty awful.
Yeah, that's
sick. Romantic.
But we did get in-room massages and like they gave us a bottle of wine. It was all very nice. We had some amazing meals downtown. I actually went back to Capriati's for lunch. From our Delaware episode.
Yeah,
I got a Bobby.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
I got a Bobby. It was great, but also
that was, of course, for our viewers or for our listeners, the Thanksgiving turkey sandwich.
Right.
And I'm sure that put you right to bed on the anniversary night.
Yeah. I was snoring hardcore, but also kind of pre-gaming for the upcoming holiday, no?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The
Yeah.
month of November's upon us.
Gobble. Gobbling up these episodes of Statesman, I'm sure our listeners are.
Oh, absolutely. One after the other. We're binge-worthy, unlike Disney Plus.
Well, it makes total sense that we're talking about the hospitality state since you just stayed in a hotel.
Oh, wow. What's their service rating? Pretty low?
I think it's last.
Oh, wow. Hey, you guys, are you going home for the holiday or you have family coming into town?
Oh, I don't know about you, Tim, but I'll be gone for a couple of days to enjoy that tur with my papa and mama, and also little big bro.
How many days will you be gone?
Ooh, 4 days?
Tim, sounds like we have enough time to gather up some potential replacement options.
Okay, we don't need to do another one of these episodes.
Stewart's indictment number
the first
2
one was a disaster.
Disaster. I don't know what you're talking about.
Tim, will you be going back home?
I will not. I will be having Thanksgiving with my sister and a couple of my friends
Oh,
here
nice.
in Chicago.
That
yeah,
sounds
very
really
cool.
nice. But wait, who's going to break the wishbone?
Oh, man, I totally forgot about that tradition. My sister and I used to do that all the time.
You guys like Wishbone, the TV show?
Oh my God.
Ever watch that and get hungry about learning?
Yeah, dude.
Give me more information, please.
Jesus. Stuart, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Still working this 9-to-5 job, and I will alert the listeners to when I will quit that job before I alert the job. So our listeners are going to be able to be there on my last day. But so far, so great. Very nice people at the company. Love being there. Love sitting in an office chair. Just recently stole someone else's office chair that leans back.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn, how low you talking? Can your back touch the floor?
The back of my head, the back of my hair will catch in the curly carpet, sort of like a Velcro situation. And then I have to have our office manager, Seamus, come rip me up.
Seamus? Groundskeeper Willie type, of course.
Yeah, he really hates horseplay in the office. And he also hates those damn Irish.
Wow.
Yeah. What else is going on this week? Guys, I think we're all, and it's a great question, but let me ask it to the table. Who's watching Watchmen?
Oh, yeah. All three of us, I think. I don't know about our guest.
It really, really rocks. It's such a great show.
It rocks.
And
man.
hopefully by the time this episode is released, we haven't changed our opinions due to some sort of mid-season disaster.
Oh, that's a really good point. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
but the first couple episodes, amazing.
Yeah.
Home runs, wouldn't you say?
We're all very excited. I lent Tim a copy of my trade paperback.
That's true, and I'm pretty decently the way through it. I'm like chapter 2 in.
You're dog earing that thing like a damn kennel. And speaking of a kennel, you got out of your cage this week, Tim. How's your week been?
Well, my week has been nothing but work, just working a lot, 40 hours, 45 hours a week at the coffee shop, and I'm tired. I woke up today sore as hell, so hopefully my week gets a little bit better, but my week can't get any better when we receive fan mail, guys.
Whoa!
More fan mail.
I remember we got one fan letter one time from one listener, and I can't believe we now got a second letter from a totally different listener, right?
Wait, Stuart, back the fuck up.
Huh?
We got another fan mail from the same person. Now, I'll be reading this again. This is from Chris Leonard, one of your friends, Stuart.
Mm-hmm. And before you start, let me just remind the listener, we will read anything you send to our email. We will read it live on air and give you a platform.
Whoa. Not anything.
Now,
anytime you're ready, Tim.
Stuart, I'm going to reel the fuck back because that's not happening. Hi, Statesman. Wowee. Been listening to all the recent episodes of the pod, and they fucking ripped it out of the park. Wyoming was great. Congrats on your 1-year anniversary of creating solid content that tickles my funny bone. Thanks, Chris. I listened to your previous shout-out, thanks, and wanted to say something on air to my friend Stuart. And then Chris decides to send the entire script to B-Movie.
Ah, I see. How long is that email?
It takes me multiple times to, multiple finger swipes down the old mouse pad, but I'll read the first couple sentences because they're pretty iconic. According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way that a bee should be able to fly. Its wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground. The bee, of course, flies anyway. Because bees don't care what humans think is possible. Now, I just want to say I think that is a quote that so perfectly represents this podcast. This podcast shouldn't be able to make people laugh, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
But we don't care anyway.
But we don't care.
You like jazz?
Look, okay. Let's move on, right? Let's fly on. Let me say thank you, Chris, for sending in that script. Really lovely. I can't wait to read a screenplay of your own one day. I hope you start writing pages, baby.
And thank you, Wishbone, for the years of enjoyment as a child. I really enjoyed your program.
And thank you to the Wish app for all these sick phone cases I've been getting.
Okay, so let's introduce our guest. He's a put-together young gentleman. Please welcome Jacob Owens.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Nice
Jacob.
to be here.
Hello.
Yeah, nice to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Sorry you had to sit through all of that. Do you
Sorry.
like the Bee movie?
I've been around. I've seen it. It's pretty good.
You've been around.
Oh, yes.
Yikes. Yeah. Jacob, you're, of course, from another state whose name is pretty entangled with letters like B. Well, not B, but other letters that we've heard Anthony say earlier that rhyme with B, like P.
Nice.
Mississippi.
Yes. It's got many letters in it, but very few different letters. Lots of S's, lots of I's.
True. A lot of repetition.
Yeah.
Sort of like the game segment on this podcast.
Oh.
So,
Maybe not today.
Jacob,
Ooh.
how long have you lived, or how long did you live in Mississippi before you moved to the tee-hee-hee capital of the world, Chicago?
Well, I was born and raised there, and I lived there until I decided I've had enough, which was about 23 years worth. So,
Damn.
Wow.
yeah.
You went to college there and everything?
I went to college at Mississippi State University. Go
What is-
Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs!
That's right.
Thank you. Yeah, we're huge fans. Where in Mississippi did you grow up initially?
Well, I grew up in a very small town called Booneville, Mississippi.
Booneville.
Booneville.
Where
Or
is
as the
that?
locals say, Booneville.
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 Where's that located in the state?
It's in the northeastern corner. If you know where Tupelo, Mississippi is.
I literally know nothing about this fucking state.
Oh, wait, is that what this podcast is about?
Yeah,
Learning
no,
about
we're
this?
geniuses.
All right. Where is that in relationship to the capital?
The capital's probably around center west of the state.
Okay.
And Booneville is probably right next to the Tennessee-Alabama border up
Ah,
I
okay.
see.
that
So,
corner.
so you spent, 23 years in Mississippi. Did you feel like it was a fun place to grow up? Did you ever go crawdad fishing with your toes in the creek?
Well, there is a thing that I did as a kid, which is kind of like that. You would go in the ditch and you would find a little hole in the ground
Oh,
and you
no.
would take a long piece of grass and you would put, this is so stupid.
No, go
you
ahead.
would put a piece of spit on the end of it.
Uh-huh.
You would stick that spit piece of grass in the little hole and you could pull out a little grub worm and
Whoa.
you have fishing lures, right?
What?
No, that's really awesome.
That's
so
so
cool.
interesting.
You give it a minute and you can catch a nice little grub worm.
This is
And-
absolutely ripped from the pages of American history, I assume. This is a Mark Twain story you're telling us?
clearly William Faulkner, some pick an author, anybody.
I saw this one. I saw this one GIF or video on Reddit the other day of this dude who had dug a hole in the ground and filled it up with Coke and Mentos and eggs, and he poured them all in. And
Tim, I don't mean to disparage you, but it sounds like one of your taste segments.
whoa, what the fuck, man? Well,
Go on.
he put all that stuff in the hole and kind of shuffled it around, and you think that it's gonna explode with Coca-Cola and egg or something like that, but then a huge fucking catfish comes out of the water, and it's like, what the fuck? And then another one comes out. 2 or 3 of these catfish come out of this small little hole off of that.
Wow, 2 or 3 catfish coming out of a small little hole. And this was a GIF?
Yeah, it repeated itself.
Whoa.
Hey.
Better every loop.
That guy caught 2 or 3 catfish. Sounds like Neve was on site.
Neve?
From catfish thing.
Okay.
So what motivated your decision to come out to Chicago?
Well, I had friends that had moved here and did comedy, and I did comedy in college. So I thought, I'm not going anywhere in Mississippi. Let's just make the move.
Oh,
Let's
nice.
go to Chicago.
Yeah. So what are some of the differences you've seen in the comedy community and just in general lifestyle between Mississippi and Chicago?
Yeah, is there a comedy community in Mississippi?
Rare, if ever. If anything, it's close to Memphis, which is Tennessee. But
Sure.
I mean, nothing really going on in Mississippi comedy-wise. The only thing I knew of was our college improv team, which
Of course, they're internationally known.
clearly, I'm glad you know.
What was your college improv team name?
It was called Lab Rats.
Lab
we were
Rats.
in a lab theater, so we were
That's
Lab
not bad.
Rats.
Yeah.
Fun.
It's a fun name. What if you guys were called the Beaker Speakers? Is that something?
Sure, Stuart. I think that's a totally different.
Yeah!
So, like, aside from the comedy community, obviously it's like much more dense here in the Teehee capital. But just in general lifestyle, like, is there a difference in the pace of life or in the culture at all?
Oh, of course. I was told very early on that I walk too slow, that I speak too slow. Things are just slower in Mississippi. I don't get why you guys are in such a hurry all the time.
Hey, listen, brother, when you're on this podcast, we are on 100% island time, all right?
Nice.
We are 2 hours late in the episode, 4 hours longer than it should be. So if anything, slow down your stories. Tell us more side characters and whatnot.
Can do. I'm afraid that a lot of my southern vernacular is going to slip out as we talk more and more.
Nah,
And
amongst y'all.
Y'all,
Pretty good.
my stars. Yeah.
Ooh.
Stuart says that I'm from the South, even though I'm from Missouri, which is like by definition not in the South.
Well,
So
not by
uh,
definition.
we may share some of our language here,
Nice.
y'all.
Okay, so Tim, are you saying that you speak like a Southerner?
I say
Seems like you just actually admitted that you're from the South.
no. It's just because there's dialectical similarities doesn't mean that I'm from the South, Stuart. I'm clearly from the Midwest.
I'm going to pickle you one of these days, little cucumber. But Jacob, let me ask you, growing up in Mississippi, was there anything that you thought were like, I guess you've moved to Chicago, you've been here for over a year. Is there something in Mississippi that you thought everyone in the world did that you came here and you're like, I guess it's just my Missy folk?
My Missy folk. Oh, you know me so well.
Well,
better than saying pee-pee folk.
Yeah. Funny.
Thanks.
Let's see. Oh, man. I don't know. Because I grew up around a lot of trees, a lot of nature, four-wheeler riding. And I mean, when I grew up, I thought I was middle class. I thought things were always like this. You just live far away from anybody. My grandmother was across the street, and then nobody down the street that way, nobody down the street the other way. I just thought that a lot of people hung out in the woods and hung out outside all of the time.
Yeah.
That is not the case.
Did you grow up in the same house that you were born in?
Well, I wasn't born in the house, but I did grow up.
Okay.
It's not that
You were
southern.
born in a hospital, Jacob.
Yes, it was the same house my whole life, and
Wow.
my parents still live there. It's, yeah.
We'll have you give us that address privately after the show. But you said that you grew up with your grandma across the street. Did you have like a lot of close family in that area?
Well, yeah, my mom's family, her sisters, all my aunts, uncles lived in the same town. So we had a pretty big Thanksgiving, pretty big Christmas, but we didn't see much of them outside of that. So,
Did you ever commit the ultimate sin, kissing cousins?
oh, I hear that's an Alabama thing.
Oh, boy.
I hear that's. I hear that
Shots
we blame
fired.
each other for.
So you were talking about how when you grew up you were just outside a lot. Has that been kind of like a culture shock moving into the city when you're trapped inside, especially by the weather?
It is this past winter was just awful.
Oh,
Being
yeah.
inside.
And
all
you
the
can
time.
listen to that on our podcast from that time. You'll hear us get more and more depressed as the episodes go on. And just as it clears up, this winter began. So it's going to be a toughie this year. But, I mean, Mississippi's weather, I assume that must have just been... what is Mississippi's weather like? Hot?
Jesus, hot and wet all of the time.
Yeah.
It's so humid, so hot.
What are the winters like? Is it
So hot, so humid. No, it's the winters are pretty mild. Like I had never seen snow stick on the ground for more than a day. So,
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
and the most snow I'd ever seen was about like 4 inches, and it was gone the next day. So,
Okay,
Oh, wow.
well, 4 inches is a lot, and everyone at this table knows
Yeah.
that. Is there any... Before we move on, Jacob, let me go ahead and ask you, even though you've moved out of Mississippi, you're now here in... Where are we, Anthony?
The Teehee capital of the United States, Chicago, Illinois.
That's right. Now that you're here, would you ever consider moving back to Mississippi, to ever live, maybe raise a couple youngins? Or would you maybe consider there a place to go and die when your time is up?
I mean, I pine for those days of just going outside and not doing anything and living that slow life. So I may want to retire there one day. I have no desire to go back and spend an extended amount of time. Just because of the obvious.
When was the last time that you went back?
It's been over a year. I think
Oh, wow.
about when I moved was the last time I was there. So
Wow.
Dang.
yeah.
Are you going home for the holidays?
I'm probably going home for Christmas.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Big one.
Oh, yeah.
You guys like Christmas?
I do. I do. I like celebrating the holidays. I think they're a lot of fun.
And I love opening presents, which, by the way, we're about to open the biggest present our listeners have ever had this episode.
This fucking
Ooh.
episode. So why don't we do that? So we're going to explore Mississippi with our 5 senses. But before we do that, I believe Anthony has a game.
That's absolutely right. It's time to, prohibition's over. Let's make some cocktails.
Oh my
It's time for a game called Mix and Sippy. Everybody grab a worksheet.
A
right.
worksheet.
A worksheet and a pen.
Oh,
Anthony-
Mr. Rossi.
A fun cocktail themed game. There are some signature cocktails that are associated with Mississippi, and today we're going to play a fun guessing game to see if you can figure out what is inside of those drinks. Now, you have a worksheet in front of you that has the name of the cocktail and then empty spaces that distinguish alcohol, other ingredients, and garnishes. In one case, I believe there's a toppings category. But essentially, what we're going to do is go through each one, right? And we're going to go around the table, and you can ask for hints one at a time. But the only way you can ask for a hint is by saying, is it adjective? You're not allowed to ask specifics because you're going to record your answers in private. And at the end, we'll see who's closest and who's getting their bartender's license.
Whoa, I'm
okay.
psyched. In Chicago, that's a great way to make some money on the side.
Truly. It makes people a living, even.
A living and a killing.
Jacob, do you like alcohol?
I do. Yes.
Nice. You, perhaps you'll recognize some of these names on the list here. But if not, that's absolutely fine. Just don't give it away for these clowns.
Okay, and let me be a little bit like the Joker right now and release a little anarchy into the situation. Anthony, your lovely girlfriend, who you again, congrats on the 4-year anniversary. She's a bit of a designer herself, a graphic designer. She knows how to put things where they should be, where it looks good.
Yeah.
Did you ask for any help on this worksheet?
No, I just kind of printed it out.
Did you realize that there would be one line of text on the backside of the page?
No, and perhaps I could have adjusted, the text size.
Sure.
Something of the like to make it fit on one page. But hey, this is the hand you were dealt, and let's dive into this game.
Okay.
All right. So, Jacob, starting with you, we're going to look at Mississippi Punch. So, the first category is alcohol. There are 2 blanks here. So you're asking about that first slot, alcohol.
I just have a question in general.
Yeah.
Things are very clear.
So alcohol is like the alcoholic beverage and not like any other drinkable ingredient.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
cool.
specifically the alcoholic ingredients.
Right.
The
The
others
liquor.
would be under the ingredient category.
Okay. So we have 3 categories for Mississippi Punch: alcohol, ingredients, and garnish. This is a toughie.
Whoa. Jacob's already filled out both alcohols. We
Whoa.
might have a ringer here.
Okay, if he was able to do it that quick, I have a bet that they're probably simple liquors, so I'm going to say...
Okay.
I
Yeah.
have an idea based on the name,
Sure.
Mississippi Punch.
Okay. Well, why don't you start by asking your first adjective question?
Let's see.
Is it blank adjective?
Is it clear?
Ooh, great question.
No.
I'm
already wrong.
Yeah. Oh, man, shouldn't have done this in pen. Anthony, I have an adjective question for you.
Yeah.
Is it brown?
Yes.
Is it made in only one specific part of the country, technically?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay,
And is that place
interesting.
Kentucky-ish?
You can't ask another one. You have one each.
Oh.
So make your guesses for that alcohol.
Oh, okay.
shit.
We have so many of these. We're gonna
Yeah, we'll keep the questions going quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I have my alcohols filled out for Mississippi Punch. What about you guys?
I think so as well. I
Oh,
think I
no,
know
we-
what's in there.
Time to ask the questions about the second slot for
Oh.
alcohols.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, then the first. Okay. Sweet.
Jacob, what's your question about the second alcohol?
Let's see. Mississippi mudslide.
Oh no, on the second slot on Mississippi Punch.
We're gonna guess both alcohols.
Yes.
Is it spicy? Ooh.
No.
Is it mild?
Yes, I'd say so.
Yeah, that didn't help us at all.
Is it clear?
No.
Okay. So two brown alcohols, which makes sense. Don't want to mix your colors here. Oh, that was a bad one. Yikes.
Jeez.
Okay, well, let's move on to the ingredients of the Mississippi
section.
Punch. Before, Tim, you get a punch in your mouth.
Yeah, honestly, I deserved that one. Jesus Christ.
Jacob, I assume you get the first guest because you are the guest for ingredient 1. There's 3 ingredients. Anthony, to speed things up, would you want to give us each one guess for each ingredient?
Sure. All right, Jacob.
Is there a colorful aspect to this ingredient?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a fruity aspect to one ingredient?
Yes.
Is there a big piece of fruit within this?
Okay.
Perhaps that will come back later, but for this category, no.
Gotcha. May I ask a different question?
Yes.
Are there any added spices?
No, not spices.
Cool.
Interesting. Okay, so we know very little about these ingredients, but I feel pretty confident in my answers. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to move on to garnish.
All right. Guys, just one hint for the ingredient section. If you get it wrong, it might sting. I don't know if you'll be able to stand getting 2 of these ingredients wrong. All right, let's move on to garnish.
Okay.
Also relevant to my hint. Any guesses on the garnish?
Garnish. Kevin Garnish. Maybe it's a bank-in. Maybe it's a slide. Maybe it's the shape of a basketball.
No, but Kevin Garnish is going to Disney World.
What the fuck? Fuck you.
You guys like post-game interviews?
Jacob, what is your question for the garnish on Mississippi Punch?
Is it something that you can grow?
Yes.
Is it something that when I slice a wedge, can I slice a wedge into this garnish?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Tim and I have a lot of experience slicing wedges on the golf course.
All right, y'all. So
Jesus.
I'm going to go down this list.
Yeah.
Now, give yourself a check mark. We're working on the honor system here. No changing answers.
Okay.
Your ingredients are, for alcohol, bourbon
Yes.
Yes.
and cognac.
Nice.
Oh,
Well,
no.
I forgot to put a second one, but that's okay.
All right.
Damn, Okay.
Your ingredients are lemon juice.
Oh.
Does lemonade count?
I
Yeah,
think so.
I'll give it to you because the other ingredient is water. And then
Oh.
sugarcane syrup.
Damn.
Okay, well, I got all of those wrong.
But
I got the lemon.
the garnish, any guesses on that, y'all?
I'm-
It's a lemon slice.
Yes.
Is a lemon a fruit?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
What
gonna
else
give
would it
myself
be?
the point, baby.
What do you think it was?
A lemon?
Will lemon skin count? Like a lemon rind?
I think so.
Okay, cool. Well, Stuart, thank you for saying that.
No
on
problem.
Anthony's game.
And just like a citrusy soda, I'm bringing a twist of spice to this game.
Well, speaking of a twist of spice, I think we should move on to the next one. It's coming out of my butt. It's like a mudslide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now this is a cold ass. This is the Mississippi mudslide. There's only one alcohol in this one, y'all.
Okay.
Any guesses?
Is it creamy?
No.
Nice question.
Yeah.
I like
thank
where your
you.
mind's at.
Is it
cream.
is it brown?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it dangerous?
Definitely.
Okay. I'm just gonna put down that
All right.
Fuck.
On to the ingredients.
Yep. We got 3 of them. Is one of them comfortable in a big factory owned by a recluse?
Yes. Sort of.
Yes,
Yes,
I
in a
bet
way.
it is.
What? Oh man, that one missed me. Is it sweet?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a savory aspect in this?
You could say that.
I might.
What does that
What
mean?
does that mean?
Are you making these drinks?
All right, let's move on to the toppings. There are two of them.
Okay,
Oh my
hold on. Okay, cool.
Oh no.
Two toppings. Two packings.
Is there a whipped form of this?
Yes.
Ah, yes.
Yes,
Fuck
yes. A mule.
And is there something you sprinkle on this? Is there like a spice or something?
No.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Now, are you saying no to the spice aspect or the sprinkle aspect?
Both.
Okay.
I wouldn't say you sprinkle it on.
Oh
Okay.
man.
And would you say
It's a little bit of a slower action.
Ah,
do you
Think what Dr. Dre would be referred to by Snoop Dogg.
do you drizzle it on?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That was a poor way to
yes.
prise that, but you got what I was saying.
No problem.
Oh man, that fucking sucks. That takes one of my ingredients out.
Yeah, me too.
A hint about those ingredients, y'all, not to bring this to a screeching halt, but because we are moving a mile a minute here.
Yeah.
Two of those ingredients are two varieties of the same thing.
Oh,
There's the
man.
same base, two
Right.
different versions.
The same,
Same
base.
two different versions. Okay.
Sort of like the Red Hot Chili Peppers after they changed out a few members.
Mhm.
Flea remained.
Yeah.
Jacob, do you have a question about the other topping?
No, I think that drizzle was really helpful.
All
Okay.
right.
I think I got it.
All right. Finally, the garnish.
Is it sweet?
Yes.
Okay.
Can it be popped?
No.
Hmm.
Is it green?
No. not usually. But let me tell you,
Can it be green?
this garnish has something in common with Camden's favorite DJ.
Grillix?
All right, y'all. Now let's run through the ingredients of this beverage.
Okay.
The Mississippi Mudslide is bourbon,
Okay.
Ah, boo,
wrong.
missed it.
chocolate ice cream,
Ah.
Damn it.
coffee ice cream,
Whoa.
and the savory element,
Let me guess. Dirt and rocks.
milk.
Oh, hey, I got one. I actually got one right.
Now the toppings are whipped cream and chocolate syrup.
Bing,
Got
bing.
those.
Nice questions, guys. That was a good round.
And can I make another guess about the garnish?
Yeah.
Is it Tiesto?
No, it's marshmallow.
I could have just stopped. Fuck.
Camden gave me an emphatic thumbs up. That was the right finger, right?
Oh, boy.
All right, y'all. Let's move on to the final cocktail. It's a Mississippi iced tea.
Oh, thank God it's
no.
the final cocktail. I'm getting tipsy.
Now, this is an intense cocktail, y'all. It's got 3 different types of alcohol and only 2 other ingredients.
Jesus.
Yikes.
Not much of a mix there.
No.
Okay. So, guys, I'm not going to ask this question, but I think it's a clear alcohol, just so we can all get that question out of the way.
Why do you think that?
Because it's iced tea, it's probably going to go with some sort of iced tea and lemon.
Mm.
I feel like those are probably the 2 ingredients. I know that we're not supposed to be working together, but God, maybe we should.
God, maybe we should.
I don't know
Well-
if I'd work with that.
I've got a
Oh,
question
this is
for
some
you, Anthony.
bullshit.
Is there any liquor that might be more at home coming out of a jug with 3 X's on it?
No.
Nice question.
Okay.
Very local.
Thank you. Well, I knew your improv team as well.
Is it something that you refuse to drink these days?
No. Nothing on here is something I refuse to drink these days.
Okay.
So maybe freaking poop water's on the list.
Hey, man.
Is there an alcohol that is dark like tea?
Yes, there's
Oh.
one.
God
I've been
damn
known
it.
to put a dark liquor in my tea,
Damn it.
but watch me get it wrong.
Yeah, I
All
also
right.
have no idea. This
Now,
was a
here
real
are your hints. 2 of these are extremely flavorful and flavored like other non-alcoholic things. There is one that is a straight up alcohol, and that's the clear one. Nope, there are 2 clear ones. My bad. Ignore that last hint.
Oh,
I'm good at
okay.
this.
Shit.
All right. Now,
Fuck this game.
there
All
are
right.
shut up. There are 2 ingredients. This is great. 2 ingredients on this one. Any guesses as to what they are? Or about what?
Jacob, do you want to take the first swing?
I have a guess as to what they are.
Ooh.
Do you want me to guess that?
Guess the adjectives.
Is it granulated?
No.
Oh,
Whoa.
I'm already
Interesting.
wrong.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
shit.
I've got a question for you, Anthony. Would one of these is one of these ingredients one of the characters from a Doughboys Extended Universe movie where they accidentally shrink themselves? Of course, I'm talking about A Little Tart.
No.
Really?
Jesus.
Nope.
Okay, we'll take that off the list. Yeah,
Well-
I know. It was a fucking disaster.
Okay, here's my obvious question. Is it a component within the title of the beverage?
There is no.
What?
There
Not.
goes my second guess.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay,
So
well,
I might
so
straight up have no guesses.
Here's
for
one
this
helpful
drink.
hint.
Yeah.
One of these ingredients can be seen in the movie Are We There Yet?
Deer?
Yeah. All right, guys, let's read through the ingredients of Mississippi iced tea. For the 3 alcohols, amaretto,
Oh,
Okay,
no.
yeah,
wait,
wow,
wait.
Jesus.
No, that's Toretto. Never mind.
triple sec. Everyone got that one. That's a gimme.
Nope.
And rum.
wow, I got
none of
got
them.
none of this right.
God damn.
I over the whole thing, I've gotten 2 right.
Damn,
Okay.
son.
We'll do the final tally at the end. Stop interrupting my game.
Ingredients.
The next ingredients are ice cubes and cola.
I got ice right.
It's bullshit that ice cubes is an ingredient.
Yeah.
I put water. That's a state of matter.
I
Similar.
agree. I agree.
You get a half point for
Sugar
water.
and water.
I mean, I said ice cubes, but I wasn't happy writing it down. I'll take the point, but curious.
Everybody tally up your points totals. We'll see who gets their bartender's license.
Well, I mean, I'll be the first to talk about it. And I know you just said amaretto, but this one is more of a Toretto. That's right. The famous friends and family of the Furious 8. I got 8 points.
Wow, jeez, that's a lot of points, Stuart. Great
Yeah,
job.
Thank you.
Wow.
You.
You, Jacob,
I'm peeping at your paper just like in high school, and it looks like we got the same score.
got
'cause
the same score, Jacob.
I've only gotten 5.
Wow.
A couple of 5s and an 8. Sounds like me anytime I hang out with the other 2 statesmen.
I regretfully have to hand over a bartending license to Stu. Stu,
Yeah.
this is a great responsibility, and with great responsibility comes great power.
Well, I feel it surging through my veins, and I think I'm now ready to say this is the best game we've ever had on Statesman.
Thank you. That's what I thought.
Now you're starting to realize how hard it is to design a worksheet for everybody to write on, and I think you're also seeing how much trouble it can be when you fall apart halfway through a game. You know.
Well, Anthony, a great game, Mix and Sippy. If you want to play it at home, we'll upload the document to our Google Drive, and you can find that link on our Instagram at Statesman Podcast.
But maybe just like Prohibition, this is one that should be forgotten and left in the past.
All right, so we're going to move on to exploring the state of Mississippi with our 5 senses. And to start, I have prepared for you all a hodgepodge of different spices that I looked online that were indicative of Southern cuisine. I couldn't really find anything that really smelled like Mississippi because I didn't want to go down to a river and get some muddy water. So I decided to grab some spices, put them in a couple of various bowls and cups and even shot glasses. And so we're going to stick our sniffers in here and try to guess what is in each one.
Okay, so right away, I'm a little bit worried about smelling powdered spices. I am pretty worried that I'm going to inhale some. And I'm also really worried, with Anthony's past history of snorting, what he's going to make of this segment.
I'm not going to snort a single one of these spices.
It's actually probably very important that you don't sniff any of these spices because I'm pretty sure one of them would kill you if you did it.
Are you serious? Oh my
But
god!
which one?
I'm not quite sure, but maybe we can talk about it.
Could it be
after
the neon colored spice?
it could be the neon colored
All right,
spice.
I'm smelling this bowl here, and it smells Smells very familiar.
Okay.
And now don't look in any of these for fuck's sake. I know that they're open-faced bowls and you can just look into them, but God.
Right. I'm being honest.
I'm smelling a lot of these. And guys, so Tim, you want us to guess what all 5 of these are. But would
Yeah.
you mind if after we did that, there's 5 spices here. Do you think we could also assign each one of them to one of the members of the Spice Girls?
Wow. I mean, are there 5 members of the Spice Girls?
Yes. Scary, baby, sporty,
Posh.
and
All.
allspice. That's right. That would be a fun twist on an old classic. Smelling spices. We've done that,
Okay, so I'm going to put a number 1 in the one that we were just smelling. So what do you guys think of number 1? What do you guys think is in this bowl?
I mean, I don't think I have to be a cracked corn to guess this one. I think that's black pepper.
Nice.
Yeah.
It definitely smells like pepper.
Okay, well, great. We're going to move on to our next one. I'm not going to tell you if you're right or not, but you're on the right track.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm going to pass around the one that says 45 on it as a representative of 45 Kings. I'm going to give that a number 2.
Interesting.
Anthony, you're sticking your sniffer in there. What kind of smells are you pulling out of that southern spice?
What the heck? That's a powerful one. I feel like I recognize it, but I can't put my finger on that one. That one's crazy.
A powerful one, kind of like Neo in The Matrix.
There is no spoon.
It smells almost fishy.
I was smelling it earlier. I think it might be like taco seasoning or something.
I think
it smells
so too.
like
It's got a
Mexican meat.
Cajun kind of.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's
What's
Cajun.
that? Tony Sacheries, Tony Catchamoles. What do you guys know
Tony
what that is?
Catchamole?
I don't know how to say the last name of that
Tony
man.
Cacciatore.
Tony Cacciatore. It's a Cajun spice that I've not seen anywhere outside
Have
of
you
the
guys
South.
ever been to Mr. Cacciatore's?
Bottle of red.
Tim,
Bottle of white.
I think I want to guess that's some. I think Jacob's on the right line. Let's say it's Mr. Cacciatore's famous Cajun spice.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a great guess, but I think you're wrong. And we're going to move on to the next one
The suspense is killing me.
So this is this is a neon one. It has number 3 in there. Anthony, why don't you go and smell now? Don't put that one up your nose because that one actually might kill you.
Or near a fire.
Oh, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, and with the hint, I think I also know what it is. I mean, what spice, when transferred to something that you smell, could kill you in the early 1920s?
Mustard.
Sulfur.
Is it mustard? I think it was probably mustard, right?
It smells like mustard to me.
All right, that's a great guess. We're going to move on to the next one, number 4. It's in a big old shot glass with a rainbow on it.
By
That's
the
pretty
way,
interesting.
for the mustard, it's Mr. Salieri's mustard. These all belong to Italian counts. Now, Jacob, you're taking your nose out of that one. What are you picking up?
I'm picking up a lot of the same kind of taco seasoning vibes
Oh,
from
no.
the other one.
Oh, yeah? That one's a little sweeter to me.
This one does seem a
I
little
think
sweeter.
I think I have a guess on that one.
A little sweeter than Mr. Cacciatore?
Take your
Mrs.
sniff.
Cacciatore, maybe.
All right, Stu, you've got your sniffer in there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a nice
think
sweet
that's-
one.
I think that's nutmeg.
Nutmeg.
Well,
Interesting.
I don't know. You know, I've seen my fair share of nutmegs watching the GOAT, Messi, play, but I don't know about that spice.
Well, we'll move on to the next number 5 one because this smell segment is absolutely fucking riveting. Why don't you go ahead and stick your sniffer into that one and tell me what you're pulling out of that one,
I'm
Anthony?
fucking pumped for this next spice. What about you, Jacob?
This next one better be catfish.
Real quick, I just wanted to say nutmeg sounds like Stu's search terms on Cartoon Hub.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
Jesus
man.
There it is.
Christ.
Cartoon Hub?
Yeah, what? a couple of weird specifics in that one.
I will Google that later.
Oh, man.
Well,
Oh, that's a spicy bowl.
okay. Well. Oh my God.
Wow.
What are these spices? They're doing something to you guys.
Yeah, Anthony's losing his mind. You just took a big whiff of it, Jacob, and as our Mississippi local, is it bringing a sense memory to your brain and taking you back to a particular spice cabinet, perhaps?
I'm gonna be weird. It smells woody. It smells like you've shaved off some sort of old cabin.
Wait. With Woody, could it be from Dr. Caligari's spice cabinet?
What do you think, Stuart?
I think possibly. Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah. I couldn't place that one.
Woody,
That's weird.
Woody is a good. It smells like when you go into a sauna that's not on.
You do that a lot?
Yeah. All right. Somebody's got to clean up the walls. All right. I don't know, Tim. I think that one is maybe it's kind of like Old Bay or something. Like, yeah,
Interesting.
I don't know.
All right. So we've smelled 5 different Southern spices. Guys, now it's time to decide your final answers. Number 1, you said black pepper.
Yeah.
Do you all agree?
Yes.
I agree.
Yes. Do we want to come up with a fancy Italian name for the owner of it? Danny Spicciana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
It's your idea. You just set the table.
Look, I set the ball. Someone's going to spike it over the net.
okay. Well, number 1, you guys have taken a pee-pee. That's a great one. Yeah, you got
That's
that
a
one
positive
right.
thing.
Yeah.
PP is okay.
Yeah, you guys
Great.
took a nice big whiz, and great job. You got that one right. Number 2, what do you guys think? I'll pass this one around just to give you a reminder of what it is.
And this was Mr. Cacciatore's. That's right.
I think that's allspice.
Taco seasoning.
Yeah, I
Some
think
kind of,
allspice is probably the right choice on that one.
Allspice is number. You think allspice is number 2? Well, that's a big old miss.
Damn.
You guys freaking missed that one. That's cumin.
Cumin.
Mark
Yeah.
Cumin.
You put a lot of cumin in taco seasoning, though. I think you guys were on the right track with taco seasoning, but totally missed the mark on allspice.
And I am sorry that we have to jump back, but I mean, like, who is obviously allspice goes to our cumin pick. What member of the Spice Girls goes to black pepper?
I think that's a posh spice.
I think so too. Yeah, it's kind of got a bite to it, but it works in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
Well, number 3 is what I've called the scary spice because it might kill you if you snort it. You guys said mustard. You guys are pee-peeing all over the place. God, you guys are so proud of you. You guys are great.
Thanks.
And number 4, I'm gonna pass this one around so you give it one more sniff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure y'all said nutmeg for this one.
yeah.
And if it is nutmeg, I know I made the messy joke earlier. I think it's only right that we call this one sporty spice.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, sporty spice, nutmeg.
all right. Well, just like Stuart's search results, he's also looking up pee-pee.
Oh, it's correct.
Yeah, you got that one right.
Jesus
that one is
Christ.
that one's nutmeg.
All right.
All right, so I'm gonna pass around the last one. It's number 5. Just give it one more go around. You said it was woody and like oaky, like Toy Story.
Yeah. Also, well, who plays with toys but babies? I think this is baby spice. Also,
What?
it's the only spice we have left.
I think that's cayenne pepper.
Ooh.
That was going to be my guess.
Yeah.
Great guesses.
I'm
Great
willing
guesses.
to go with you guys. I can't smell.
I think it is another pepper.
Yeah. All right. Another pepper, baby spice.
And you know what? Pee-peeing all over the place, guys. Your pants are so freaking wet, you peed all over the place. And
Nice.
Wow.
you know, I'm actually quite surprised. You got 4 out of 5 of those.
Oh.
Yeah, really, really great job. Your sniffers are absolutely stellar.
Yeah, tuned in. But I want to ask you, Jacob, did any of these remind you of Mississippi in any way?
Well, if you had salt, that's clearly our favorite spice.
Yeah, definitely.
But these did remind me a lot of the foods I grew up with.
Anthony is pouring all of the spices into one hand, and I wonder what he's going to do with this.
Yeah, I
it's-
said I wasn't going to snort a single one of these spices.
No, Anthony,
I'm going
really.
to snort 4 of them.
Remember, there
obviously.
is-
mustard not included.
There's cayenne and black pepper in there. You're going to just.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Okay, well.
Fun.
Anthony's hand is held closed pretty tightly. Jacob, while Anthony deals with his bloody nose, let me ask you, what other smells bring you back home to Mississippi?
Well, the North Mississippi is known for like its forests and some soybean fields. I'm used to smelling dirt and pine and those kinds of smells really make me think of home.
One of the things that I was looking up that I just have absolutely no access to is the smell of a magnolia tree. Do you know what that smells like?
I think I've put my nose up to a magnolia flower before. I don't think it has that distinctive a smell, like
Okay.
a sweet,
Yeah.
flowery smell.
Yeah, sweet and flowery, I figured, is what it like generally smells like. But
Yeah.
otherwise, the only ones that I was really pulling out was like the muddy waters. I mean, like what it smells like next to a river.
Yeah, and like after a rain in the summer, there's that weird, that fresh smell of just wet grass.
You're not the first guest to try and to be upset or a little bit disappointed that we hadn't captured that fresh rain smell. Seems like everyone who's grown up anywhere.
Oh, Anthony.
Oh.
Did that all just come out?
No. Hey, pepper makes you sneeze. The rumors are true.
Yeah.
And just like one of the members of TLC, Anthony only has left eye. Your right eye starting to water up a lot.
Oh, Anthony.
Oh,
All right, Jacob, we have to
Jesus Christ.
we have to
Feel
rate
great.
my smell segment out of something. Stuart, you've been raising your hand. What do you got?
I would like you to rank this smell segment out of 5 Spice Girls. How many Spice Girls do you think we've achieved?
Oh, I would think this is at least a 5 out of 5 spice.
Whoa!
This is
A
great.
full reunion tour.
I have a full reunion tour of a Spice Girl. That's incredible. Anthony has ran out of the room, is sneezing like a madman.
Anthony has left the room for Anthony has snorted so many things on this show, and this
so
is
much into
this is the
Anthony.
first thing that has straight up made him leave the room.
That's crazy.
That's a wild one.
I really hope that it's not one of the other spices that is deadly.
Honestly, I would assume that snorting cumin is not good for you.
Yeah, or any of the other ones, or really snorting much in general is probably a bad idea.
And that was a successful segment. He knew exactly what each of those spices were.
Yeah.
That's true.
And now he's taking a celebratory walk around home plate. Oh boy.
Well, I don't know if Anthony's coming back anytime soon, but we got to keep this show rolling. And so, we've explored Mississippi with our sniffers, but why don't we try exploring Mississippi with our listeners? Stuart, why don't you take this audio segment away?
I want to just commemorate this whole segment to Anthony's memory. Rest in peace, little Rossi.
I'm back. I'm fine.
You were just reincarnated by the sweet songs of Elvis Presley.
Hell yeah.
Oh, the king.
That's right. Elvis was born in Tupelo, Mississippi. And by the way, it's a town I visit every night in my bed, along with one pillow between my legs.
Jacob spent 23 years of his life there.
I sure
well,
did.
just outside of Tupelo, correct?
Just north. Yes.
What did you say? Did you ever see the place where Elvis Presley was born?
I sure did. His birthplace is right there. You can go sit on his front porch and swing on his swing.
No!
Stoop kid.
Stoop Kid.
That's right. Elvis Presley. Famous Stoop Kid.
Well, Elvis moved to Tennessee as a teenager and in 1955 recorded the tunes that would make him famous at Sun Records, of course, the famous story. A lot of Mississippi musicians kind of learned and built their craft in Mississippi and then moved up to Tennessee where like all the recording industry was and they would break out. Elvis pulled from a diverse source of music. We're talking pop rock, gospel, and Southern R&B. Became sort of the perfect whirlwind of fame at the time, just combining all these things. And, of course, you could say reappropriating or stealing a lot of the culture from performers he saw around them to become a huge white performer, He fed off the fame and stoked controversy as well. Parents hated his little swinging wiener and hips, but kids thought he was a rebel with a new sound. Tim, you're a big fan of Elvis's gyrations.
That's actually not true.
All right. Well, after a dozen recorded hits, a handful of television appearances, and an unrivaled movie career for a guy who couldn't act at all, Elvis was on top of the world. Jacob, you ever seen any of those Elvis movies, performances, TV shows?
I have. My dad was a huge Elvis fan.
Really?
So I got to watch all of the movies. His Hawaii phase was a little weird.
Yeah, terrible, I would call them. Most of the movies, Anthony's crying right now.
I'm fine.
The tears of Elvis.
I feel great.
Just thinking about the king. Lost too soon, I assume. Elvis is a terrible actor and, I mean, just an incredible musician and had so much charisma on stage that he was able to get so many acting roles, even though, like, he's bad at acting. That's, like, how good he was as a musician. But, unfortunately, all that fame can go to your head. And after a complicated relationship with pills, liquor, and food, Elvis died of heart failure in 1977.
Is it true that he died on a toilet?
Rumor has it, yes. He was found on the floor of his bathroom. I think there are different tales of whether or not he was in the middle of a Mississippi mudslide. Jesus, no. It was a joke. Jesus.
It was pretty good.
But, there are also people who said that he just had, like, a heart attack in the bathroom. But those people maybe just don't want to have to think about, this person dying with their pants around their ankles,
Yeah.
Anthony, is there a way that you would like to die?
No, I'm sure that I'm going to die on the toilet. Yeah, the likelihood is sky high.
What?
It's almost a guarantee.
You spend, 6-7 hours on the toilet any given day?
Yes. So much of my waking life is spent dropping heat. Well, yeah.
Elvis has sold over 1 billion records, the most in history by a solo artist, and will probably be remembered as the king forever. Guys, everyone at the table, any feelings about Elvis? Do you think he's a good representation of Mississippi, Jacob?
I'm so sorry I did that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel like he moved away when he was like 9 or 10 years old. So
I think it was 13.
13?
Mm-hmm.
I know he bought his guitar from the little hardware store in Tupelo, and I just don't know. He gives me those Southern vibes when I hear his songs. So
but possibly a little too big to feel like a local boy.
A little bit.
Wow.
Interesting.
Local boy goes global.
I think that his music was really iconic and that as an actor, he was okay. He was just charismatic. I do think we should note that it's pretty well known that he would frequently sleep with underage girls because he wasn't confident that he could live up to his rock star persona in bed.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even pretty well. I mean, he was married to Priscilla Presley, who I think he met when she was 11.
Something like that.
And she lived with him in his house for 3 years before they were married, which at what time, I'm sure it was all above board, totally fine. Elvis, trustworthy dude. No, he's a piece of shit. It was probably a big old piece of shit. It was a different time for sure. And I mean, if we're talking about, bad things about Elvis, also the fact that he came from Mississippi, a place so associated with blues and R&B, and sort of took a lot of that sound and just put it over songs that like a white audience would be okay with hearing. Yeah. And then, like, got famous, just like a million artists before them, just sort of, like, hopped on the bandwagon of something that an African-American artist had sort of worked on beforehand. With that being said, I mean, he obviously, like, broke past a lot of the barriers that normal fame can. I mean, it's just wild to think of how famous he was by the end of his career. There are a couple of great videos to watch of him at, like, the last stages of his life, just pilled out of his fucking mind, like so fat too, and just sweating up a storm on stage, and he can't make a coherent sentence, and then he'll like sit down at a piano and just bust out a perfect rendition of a song, and then at the end of it he'd go and like stumble away. It's like this weird. Well, you guys have seen Star Is Born. It's like the famous scene in that.
Except a lot more sweat.
Was he like the first example of international celebrity?
No, I mean, I think there had been international celebrities before him, but I think he was the first one to so readily capture every young person's heart. Like, I think everyone just assumed that he was like the guy, you know?
He became famous at the same time that the TV became popularized, right?
Yeah, and a lot of his TV appearances, his early performances, those ones that were famously cut off at the hips because TV censors were like, we can't show that fucking penis flapping around between his thighs. Obviously, like, those helped skyrocket his fame. But I also think that... I don't know, man. Like, Elvis is a talented dude. And it's sort of that Michael Jackson syndrome of like, at what point is the giant catalog and talent and effect on pop culture, like, how often we should always still bring up their shortcomings, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just something to always remember when listening to the music. Before we move on, do you guys have any favorite Elvis tunes?
Well, the holidays are coming up. Of course, Blue Christmas is a classic.
Hope you don't have one, Tim.
Thanks. I hope I have a good one. I don't know.
Right. Well, maybe we should actually just move on to another king. Kings?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Look out. Sometimes I think it's crime.
Was he talking about his guitar right there?
Oh, fuck yeah, he's talking about his guitar.
Fuck yeah.
And she has a name. It's Lucille. Baby.
Right.
Of course, that was B.B. King, my second favorite B.B. of all time. First, of course, going to that lovable robo-scamp, BB-8. Born in 1925 near Itabena, Mississippi, which is in the Mississippi Delta.
I don't want to... Itabena.
Itabena?
Itabena.
Well, it had been a long time since he was born in 1925.
Yeah.
In that Mississippi Delta, which is how King's musical stylings came to be known as the Delta Blues, B.B. King, probably the number one, if not in the top 5 greatest guitarists of all time, and one of the fathers of modern blues music, as it's known today. King's personal style was like a lyrical singing, string, vibrato wailing that came. It was revolutionized and modernized the blues and brought it to a massive new audience. Because before that, it was thought to be a lower class music, and a lot of that was just based on racist opinions because it was mostly an African American genre. But B.B. King was so talented that it kind of broke through those racial barriers. And by the time it was the mid 60s, by the time he was a well-known around the world, had desegregated concerts. Very, very impressive man. Any thoughts on the B.B. boys?
I mean, you can hear it in that song. That commentary of him saying, "I think she's crying," is so good and humorous, and it's so fucking awesome.
That song we just listened to is called Lucille. It is 10 minutes long, and it's him slowly telling the story of why his guitar is named Lucille. It's 10 minutes long. The story, by the end, he just goes, "By the way, the woman who burned down my house's name was Lucille." And then he just jams as hard as he's jammed in the song. None of it leads up to that. He just throws it out as a non sequitur at the end. But the whole thing is him saying a sentence and then sort of having a call and response with his guitar as another voice almost. It's
iconic. I mean, it was a real tragedy when he passed away several years ago. And I remember when I first heard his music just being truly blown away. That is such a palpable, emotional track. And just that's really representative of his whole catalog. It's really it's shaking you when you're listening to it. It's really, really intense. And it really is what the blues is defined by, that type of connection.
I mean, Anthony, I don't think I would be out of line in saying that you stan a king.
Yeah. I've also felt the Delta blues before when somebody was using my armrest.
Oh my God.
That's good.
Wow, a nice callback.
Good. Yeah, that is good. Well, King won 15 Grammys, released countless classic albums, and toured continuously for nearly 65 years. He was such a prolific tour hound that he once played 300 one-night shows in a single year.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I don't know how you do that.
I mean, that's
Actually,
your life.
You know how you do it? You sit down on stage. I think
That's
like
right.
by the end of
He's famously sits.
he would just sit down because he's like, I'm going to be playing the guitar for you guys for
Right.
like 2 hours. So chill the fuck out, okay?
How many shows did you say?
300?
Where did he dine after all those performances were done?
Well, we'll get to that in the taste segment of today's episode.
Wow.
Anthony, you mentioned it earlier, but he died in 2015 and is obviously his legacy is cemented by his music, but also 7 years earlier in 2008, the B.B. King Museum and Delta Interpretive Center opened in Indianola?
Yeah.
Okay, Indianola, Mississippi, with exhibits dedicated to King's music, his influences, and the history of the Delta region. So while he might be gone, that guitar still weeping, baby.
Nice.
Yeah. But any more thoughts on this BB before we shoot him out of a little BB gun and move on to the next one?
Just that man has so much soul. One of my biggest regrets is not seeing him in concert when
Yeah.
he came around.
Anthony, am I
He
wrong?
played.
Did you see him live?
No, I think I just missed him. He would perform all the time in Chicago as well, and I think I had the opportunity once, but I was otherwise occupied. And,
Right. You're more of like a Warped Tour kind of guy.
Yeah, I own a bunch of vans.
Oh, well, then
Bunch
I'm
of
sure
sweat
you'll
cuffs
be
for my wrists.
you'll be tapping your toe in those vans to this next song. Wow, Paramore. Obviously, the band was formed in Tennessee, but Haley Williams, the lead singer, born in Meridian, Mississippi. How about that?
Excellent.
Which I assume is in the middle of the state?
Sure. It's, just east of Jackson, Mississippi. The old capital.
Jackson is the capital, but we'll get to that, I hope, Anthony.
Is the band named after Elvis's haircut?
That's Pompadour.
Oh, so close. Dang.
Nope, it was named after Haley Williams' mother's maiden name, Paramore. Haley, after a few years of teen performance with cover bands, was signed with Atlantic Records along with her band. But to look cooler, their first album was released on a record called Fueled by Ramen, because they wanted like the punk scene to know that they weren't like sponsored by a huge thing and pushed in the media and in the markets and whatnot. Their first album exploded in popularity, and at the time when it was released, Haley Williams, 16 years old.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
God.
wild, isn't it? Like she was signed to Atlantic Records when I think she was 14.
Whoa.
Now, from what I know about geography, Mississippi isn't located on the Atlantic. How did she get signed to Atlantic Records rather than Gulf of Mexico Records?
Jesus Christ. Williams is a Warped Tour staple, has won a Grammy and a Teen Choice Award, and was the subject of countless teen boy crushes in the late 2000s. She really was super cool.
Yeah, I listened to her all throughout middle school. I listened to Paramore a lot. Same
Well,
with Flyleaf.
Jacob, we asked if you would ever go home to Mississippi to dye, but would you ever go there to get a dye job like Haley's hair?
Oh, I haven't thought about that. I just
Take
might.
a second. Yeah.
Let me get hit by that.
One of my best friends in high school, Grayson, had a massive crush on Haley Williams, and we would always go to FYE so that he could look at a poster of her.
Hey, one of your best friends, Grayson, in high school was a fucking creep.
No, it wasn't like gross. It was just odd. It was more like a romantic love than like a creepy.
It's in middle school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Anthony, let's get a Wetzel's Pretzels, and would you mind standing outside at FYE while I go in there for like 20 minutes?
Yeah, he was really into Haley Williams and Taylor Swift, which, two different sides,
Yeah, of the same coin. No, please.
Instead of Meg Nut, it was more nut.
Jesus.
Wow.
Wow.
Paramore.
Haley Williams also appears as a playable character in Guitar Hero World Tour.
Shit.
Really?
Now that's a cool honor. Do you think we'll get a Kids' Choice Award?
I think there's a chance we get slimed on this podcast, but it's only if your buddy Grayson comes.
Oh, God.
Any other feelings about Paramore, guys? I mean, like, that song, a couple of their other hits, they're obviously like pieces of their own era, but that song still fucking bangs.
Yeah, where are they now? Are they still making music?
Some members of the band have left. Right now, sometimes they do little like small tours that are like the Vans whatever tour. I don't think Warped Tour is still a thing, but I think they have like other sort of versions of it. And they still tour pretty consistently. She won an Emmy for Best Rock Song, I think, in 2015. For some fucking song. But I mean, like, I think she, might just be doing okay.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Haley Williams deserves to have a good time.
I agree. Another Williams who I hope is doing okay, Brian Williams. I believed him.
Oh, my God.
Well, with that, let's go move on to another untrustworthy middle-aged man. Camden?
Wasting away again
In Margaritaville. Snorting on my Lost Shaker assault.
Yikes.
Jacob, you threw up a hand almost in protest. What was that about?
Jimmy Buffett is a Gulf Coast resident. I don't believe it.
Yeah, but guess what? He was born on Christmas Day in Pascagoula, Mississippi.
See, a Gulfie. He's a Gulf Coast guy.
I
They're
guess.
so different down there. It's
Is it
so
really?
different?
Is Mississippi on the ocean?
Yeah, the Gulf. It has a tiny little tail on the Gulf Coast, kind of like Alabama.
Alabama, I know, has the little crab nuts or whatever hanging off the bottom.
Yes.
But I didn't know that
Or Mobile
Mississippi
Bay.
is. Oh, Mississippi's right on the other side of it. Thank you to our in-studio geographer, Camden. Thanks so
The
much.
Twin States.
I'm happy that he was able to divert his attention from all those marshmallow videos he's been busy watching during this record.
Camden, aye. Okay, buddy, get back to work. Well, Buffett again was born on Christmas Day, and that makes him the best person to ever be born on that day. While Buffett started as a country musician and extended stay in Key West, manning a yacht and drinking himself blind, changed the temperature of his tunes with a fun and balmy Caribbean sweat.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I'm going Grayson in my pants right now. With the release of an album titled Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Altitudes.
Attitudes.
You're right, Attitudes. Thank you. You're a big fan of that album?
Yeah, I'm a parrot head.
Oh, yes.
Buffett became an absolute sensation. 24 albums later and a ton of franchise restaurants, Buffett has remained a consistent draw to his legions of parrot heads. There are millions of people who come out to his concerts. He still tours very regularly and sells out like massive, massive stadiums. It is a wild thing to go to, and I would do it in a heartbeat. I mean, he also had a Broadway musical, by the way.
What?
Yeah.
Was it called Margaritaville?
No, it ran for 6 weeks in Miami, and that was it.
That's not a Broadway musical.
Very off Broadway.
And do you think there's not a Broadway street in Miami? I bet there might be.
Okay.
No, it's called Escape to Margaritaville.
Does that come before or after? Like, canonically, does it come before or after Escape from LA and Escape from New York?
I know. And yes, it was on Broadway. It wasn't only in Florida.
Well, anyone want to guess the name of Jimmy's rocking backing band?
Oh, I used to know this. It's got something to do with fish, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
It's funny.
The pufferfish, the
Oh.
Hufflepuffs. I don't
That's no.
I don't know. What is it?
Well, you guys are about to have a real Raven claw ha ha after this one. Yikes. They're called the Coral Reefers.
Of course. Jesus.
Yeah, so Jimmy Buffett, an honorary statesman after coming up with that joke. The Reefers even played for Bill Clinton on the White House lawn in 2000. And by the way, I think Bill Clinton is the perfect person to sort of embody and signify the entire idea of Jimmy Buffett. You know, an old man with still a ridiculous amount of fans who's kind of creepy and weird, and whom I don't like personally, but did a couple of things that are probably positive in the long run. What do you guys think of Jimmy the Buff?
I have no idea about Jimmy Buffett's like personal or philanthropical life, but you know, I hope he's done only good.
You know, Jimmy Buffett once almost got shot down over Jamaica in his personal plane. Of course, you can hear about that in his song Jamaica Mistaka.
That's a real thing.
Not a joke.
That's awesome. That's really too bad.
Well, looking past his music career, Buffett is also an accomplished author, writing multiple bestsellers, all of which focus on the lives of beach bums named Tully Mars, who gets into wild action adventures.
cool.
This is a lot of canon behind.
There is so much Jimmy. The thing is, he started Margaritaville in 1985, like the restaurants,
Sure.
which I thought was a more recent thing. But he's had successful, like dozens of those chains for decades now. And with the combinations of that, his touring and just like merch sales, Jimmy Buffett, I think, might be close to a billionaire status. But he still just wears flip-flops and shows up in like Jurassic World and shit because he's like, I don't know, a big boner or something. He's a weirdo.
So here's the thing about Jimmy Buffett. It's pretty amazing to me how successful he is, because I think that he is like that silly sort of fun that you wouldn't expect to kind of die off the map after a while. But he's built such a successful empire of businesses and, you know, his touring. Like, I remember he just sold out Wrigley Field not too long ago. And the thing about Parrot Heads is there's a really scary mix there between fun, you know, party dads who are just like a backyard barbecue bad joke kind of dad, and then like a red-faced too drunk boomer screaming at a waitress.
Yes.
Like, I just really am scared of that energy.
It's a super interesting juxtaposition, but like that is a duality of a fan that is so interesting where it's like, how can you be about like casual love in the sun, like having a good time, peace, love, and buff, you know? And then you're also like voting for Trump and you're a fucking big asshole. Like, it's just such a strange thing. But I also understand why he still sells out Wrigley Field. Like, I would go to that concert in a heartbeat.
Escapism. It's cheaper than a trip out to a beach town.
Absolutely, especially in a warm city like Chicago. Ay.
Yeah.
I looked it up. He's worth $600 million.
Jesus
incredible.
Christ.
Does he still own the casino that's on the coast?
Yes, he does. Yeah. And he has a hotel chain as well.
That's my
Jesus.
animosity with him. I've lost a lot of money at that casino. It's not. Don't go there.
Yeah, man. Everything comes up added incorrectly. Have you ever heard his song "Math Sucks"?
I don't think I have.
Yeah. Listeners, look that one up. Literally just a song about Jimmy Buffett saying, like, division is hard, math sucks.
Math sucks.
Math sucks.
He is from Mississippi.
Hell yeah, baby. Well, let's get back into it with one more Mississippi kid who, although not born there, certainly embodies the state.
I miss ya, I really wanna kiss you, but I can't. Baby, you know that I miss you. I wanna get with you tonight, but I cannot, baby girl.
And that's an issue.
Girl, you know I miss you.
You ready?
When
Here
do
we
they
go.
say pee-pee?
Hold on, ready?
Right now, so baby,
Kiss me through your headphones. Kiss me through your headphones. Kiss me through my headphones. Okay, turn it down, Camden. Turn it down. DeAndre Cortez Way was born in Chicago and moved to Mississippi as a young boy. Of course, by the way, for anyone who didn't know, that was Soulja Boy with Kiss Me Through the Phone, featuring Sammy.
Cool.
You
Great song.
ate a Sammy this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
His dad, Soulja Boy's dad, made a makeshift recording studio in their home as a way to support his son's hobby. Little did he know, Soulja's Chicago, Mississippi influences would lead him to fame.
That's so cool. That's such like a nice homebrew story.
It is a nice thing because, like, he's also so. When you think Soulja Boy, you think Crank That, and when you think Crank That, you think about Anthony's friend. I'm ripping on Grayson today.
Yeah, poor Grayson. I
Sorry,
know that
Grayson.
guy too. He's a nice guy.
Well, Crank That was initially a self-released, self-produced, released on the internet song that blew up in popularity and got Soulja Boy signed to a label. And then, it went number one in the world and practically like defined 2007 sonically. Guys, where do you remember the first place you were when you saw somebody, to quote, Superman?
Yeah, I mean, like it was so popular in my school. It was like the floss and the dab art today. If you didn't know if you didn't know how to crank that, then you were a fucking loser.
Right. We danced to that song at our prom. Every single person got up and did the dance.
Oh man.
Wait,
And I cringed. So.
at your
yeah.
prom.
Yes.
That's in high school.
That's high school, yeah.
So that's what, like a couple of years after this song had come out.
Don't judge.
I'm
our
not judging.
Slow. Yes.
People still Cupid shuffle at weddings all the
That
time.
was a great
like,
era for like dance along music.
yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Do
really
this
exist.
move.
I guess the Millie Rock.
What about Watch Me, ooh, watch me.
That's actually a
watch me.
really good point. Yeah. Oh, and by
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way, we're all doing it tonight after this record. Watchmen, ooh.
Hey, wow.
Soldier Boy had monumental
Oh.
success that eventually led to absolute failure. After a string of critically reviled albums, complications with the law, and the release of a bootleg video game console, it seems like Soldier Boy has all but evaporated from the media landscape, and it's probably for the best.
What was
What do
the
you-
console? Soldier Box 1X?
That was oh god, I think it was called the Soldier Boy, like the Soldier Game Boy. Like I think he got sued by Nintendo for first marketing it, but he essentially like took one of those. If you've ever been to, this is especially the case in like Asia. There's small like street markets where you can buy like a copy of Grand Theft Auto 6, and it's like a really shitty DVD box with just like a bunch of random shit photoshopped onto it with the logo for Grand Theft Auto, and it's just like fake black market video game shit. But he contacted one of those companies and told them that he would be willing to license his name and likeness to their black market video game device. And Tim, you're on your computer. Have you found it? What's it called?
It's called the Soldier Watch.
No, okay. So the Soldier Watch is another part of the Soldier Boy video game line.
Okay,
Right.
then it must be just called Soldier Game.
Soldier Game.
This article is kind of hard to decipher through.
Yeah, big shout out to whatever site you're on.
The
But
Fader. The Fader.
ugh.
Now that Blizzard's canceled, you might want to hop on Soldier Watch. I'm going to be Tracer.
God. I'm already Tracer.
Oh, shit. I
Well,
just bumped the table, got too
yeah.
excited about
Yeah.
that joke.
Well, I've got another joke that you're absolutely gonna love. Soldier Boy was also on an audio medium, sort of like this one with microphones, and recently popped back up into the pop culture landscape by. Do you guys remember when he said, "Drake"?
What?
He said Drake on the
No.
Breakfast Club.
Yes.
Okay,
You said
thank
it.
God someone
No,
remembers.
you said that he's disappeared from the media landscape. That's patently just fucking untrue. Last year was his most relevant year since Crank That came
Right.
out.
I'm saying, but relevance being like a total failure on his part and being sued by Nintendo, like, I think there's a difference between like this guy's successful and it's like, oh man, everything this guy is doing stinks of desperation, and it's obvious that he really does not have a lot of money.
You got to see how much he was paid for some of his appearances right after that meme-worthy time period in his life, though.
Look, hey man,
It brought his career back. In
I
many
believe
ways.
it, and that's fine if you want to fight for Soldier Boy. But I'll say he fucking stole that shit from another fucking hip hop icon. You know, his Drake meme. Actually, Camden, we have the clip. Could you? We're gonna listen to who did it first.
Drake.
Oh no!
Wow.
Turn this off.
We're not done yet. All right, Camden, how long is the video, and are we almost done? We're halfway done.
No. Cut.
All right.
Did you assemble this or did you find this online?
No, there are a series of videos online called every Drake from this season of Drake and Josh, and there's like 8 of them, and they're all about a minute long, and they're just all the Drakes. If you guys want to,
That was one season.
that's one season of Drakes. Like,
Jesus.
anyway, so that's the end of my audio segment. I'm glad I could cap it off with a peck on the cheek, a Josh peck, that is. Now, of course, Jacob, I have to ask you, out of 5 Spice Girls, how do you think I did in representing your state of Mississippi? And before you give me my Spice Girls, let me ask, Is there any other audio or musical artists or like particular sounds that you associate very specifically with Mississippi, your home state?
I mean, I did grow up in the North Mississippi, but I lived in the Delta for a little bit too. And I mean, you got Howlin' Wolf is a big one. Smokestack Lightning is you would know the first bit of that song if you heard it.
I'm sure.
I mean, there's so many Delta blues artists.
Yeah. In this segment, I really had to do a lot of work to only like pick one person from each genre. And of course, I mean, I had to include Jimmy Buffett in the thing. So I had to throw out Robert Johnson. But let's go ahead. Out of 5 Spice Girls, how many girls do I got?
Well, since you can't name every musician, let's do 4 out of 5 Spices.
Oh,
Let's do 4 out of 5.
Nice. Good job.
Okay, I feel pretty confident about that.
Yeah, that's an 80% of one of the most popular girl bands in the world.
I love Girl Pool.
Well, Stuart, great job on your segment. We're going to move on to our next regular segment where we explore Mississippi with not our ears, not our sniffers, but actually with our mouths. So I'm going to, Stuart is actually going to start assembling this stuff that we have in here. What I've prepared for you all today is something that I found online at shewearsmanyhats.com. And actually, just kidding, I didn't find it there. I found it at midwestliving.com, which is weird because Mississippi's located in the South. But I have made for you all Mississippi cornbread salad, one of the first healthy additions to the Statesman cuisine canon. Now, one thing about this thing is that it's kind of hard to dig into. It's meant to be layered, I think. Basically, what's going on is that at the very bottom, you have cornbread crumble. Then you've got some bacon, some cheese, a little bit of sauce in between, then some kidney beans, some corn, tomatoes, green pepper, green onion, and to top it all off, some more sauce. Now, what makes this a Mississippi cornbread salad is the sauce that I added to it called comeback sauce. Now, Jacob, I'm not sure if you're familiar with comeback sauce, but what comeback sauce is, it's a spicy dipping sauce that is with mayo, ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, a hot sauce, and then black pepper and garlic powder. And you know why they call it comeback sauce?
Well, don't call it a comeback. It's been here for years, but why?
Because when you have it, it keeps you coming back. Absolutely.
Gross. I didn't like that.
Wow. Tim, you said shewearsmanyhats.com, another website frequented by Stu on his cartoon search for meg porn.
That's right. She wears actually just one hat.
This is insane. This is like a big hodgepodge of stuff, but it's really delicious.
This is the best meal I've had in weeks.
Whoa.
This is great. You guys
wow.
went all out for this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty good. I don't know. I don't think I would have this all of the time. This is the first time that I'm trying it. There's a sweetness to it in that cornbread and a spiciness in that sauce, but I think it's just a little bit too much texture for me to really enjoy.
I'll be honest. This is such like a hurricane of different, some things are very hard and crunchy, and like they just sort of go from that to as soft as I can taste.
Yeah.
And I don't really love having that range. I mean, Anthony, what are you thinking?
Well, first of all, we're talking about Mississippi. Please be a little more sensitive with your word choice.
What, about hurricanes?
Yes.
Okay. Why wasn't a hurricane included in your drink game?
This is an absolutely delicious meal. It's a lot of vegetables. I usually have a problem getting vegetables in my diet on a consistent basis, but maybe this is an option. It's clearly not super healthy because of that comeback sauce, but I don't know. I'm into this. I like a nice fresh veggie. The chunks of tomato, are they supposed to be this size or a little finer maybe?
I can't chop a tomato. I can't chop an onion. I don't know how to cube that shit because it smushes whenever I put my knife to it. So I don't know if it's too dull or I'm just bad at cutting things, but
A little bit of both. Column A, column B.
It's been very hard to do that. One thing that I used for the comeback sauce was something that we've talked about earlier, mayo chup.
Whoa!
Finally got to use mayo chup for this one. Instead of separating the two, mayonnaise and ketchup, I decided to buy them both in the same jar. Now, what the hell is that all about?
I love America.
Fuck yeah. Well, I don't know really. I I don't really know why this is a Mississippi delicacy or like a Mississippi anything. I just typed in Mississippi salad and this is what came up.
Well, let's ask our local. Is this something that you would have on a regular basis?
I'll
or
be
at
honest
all?
with you. I've never seen this dish.
Yeah.
But I've heard of everything you put in it, especially
right.
the comeback sauce.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So comeback
Yeah.
sauce is like an actual thing that
Yeah.
you know about.
I've had it on burgers before, yeah.
So basically what I know it as is like it just tastes like spicy chipotle sauce to me.
Yeah, kind of Thousand Island salad dressing to me. Yeah.
And it's normally comes on like it's a dippable, so like you can have it on like catfish or with fries or just like with anything that is. I bet this would be dank with fries.
Yeah, for sure. It's dippable, so you can also pack a double horseshoe in that mouth.
I've got one as well. We're talking about spicy things that are dippable, kind of like Sean Spicer on Dancing with the Stars.
Also, Woody.
Yikes. My opinions on this dish, I am not a fan of it, but I think it's because it's working from a place of, first off, I'm not a big fan of the consistency, but second, I really don't like cornbread all that much. The flavor is off-putting to me, and I think it might just be because I grew up like never having it and just assuming that I knew what it tasted like. And then when I got it for the first time, I was like, what the fuck is this thing?
You're hurting my heart with that cornbread talk.
The cornbread itself is hurting your heart. Okay?
You're not wrong.
Bad for you.
I think the cornbread would work for me if it were, and this was an option in the recipe, but I didn't have time, but if it were just a little bit crunchier like a crouton.
Yeah.
And if it like mixes in with the sauce to make almost like a paste, and it's just, it doesn't, I don't fuck with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't fucks with it at all. Anthony, do you fucks with it?
I fucks with it a little bit. I definitely wouldn't say this is my favorite thing you've prepared, especially as of late. You've been absolutely fucking killing it. But I think this is an okay. I think this is like a high B+ for me.
Yeah, you cleaned your plate.
Well, I had a tiny ass portion. Stu had a massive portion.
And just like that, I've given Anthony my bowl. Wow.
You know,
I'm like Jesus himself.
I forgot that I added bacon in here.
Yeah.
And I just got a stellar piece of bacon that really rounds out that flavor.
That's part that I really like. I got sort of like a mix of a lot of things, and that mix of like the corn, the sauce, a little bit of I think there's like green peppers or whatever in there. But like that, I did enjoy.
Whoa.
That was like a Southwest salad kind of flavor.
I mean, I'm in love with this. This has got everything I remember. The veggies, there's something fried in it. It's
excellent.
perfect.
A little spicy.
So I have to say, eating some of Stu's portion here, the mix was so much better. I think it's very possible to get a bad bowl of this.
I think, easily. As I scooped it into the bowls, I noticed that the first scoop that I put in was just the top corn and sauce, and I was like, okay, and started digging. Like, I think it's very hard, unless you're working with like a flat dish, to get a perfect serving of this. Like, we're working out of a bowl where it's just difficult.
Yeah, but like even in the recipe, it says use a 3 to 4 quart glass salad bowl, and it seems impossible to get like a good serving out of this, especially when it's like it asks you to layer in a specific order, which I have no idea why it asks you to do that.
Tradition.
But it asks you to like, it's a layered salad rather than a mixed salad, which I don't really get unless it's in a shallow dish.
I agree. But I do think that maybe you could follow another Southern tradition and make this salad in a 10-gallon hat.
Whoa! Jacob, there are plenty of other things that we could have eaten for the Mississippi dish, but what are some of the things that pop up in your mind as like true staples of the cuisine?
Anything deep fried. We're talking catfish, chicken, pork chops.
Okra.
Please. Okra. Fried squash.
With Oprah. Yeah.
She's from Mississippi, so we could.
She is?
She is.
Damn.
There are a lot of famous artists from Mississippi. Morgan Freeman, all kinds of,
Damn. Number one artist in my book, Morgan Freeman.
Dang.
Clear.
Well, you know, I think this was pretty successful. I mean, it's not to everybody's tastes. There are some things that you can easily do better with the dish. But I like it. Jacob, out of how many Spice Girls would you give this spicy salad?
I really like it. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5.
Whoa! Elder Statesman, is having a perfect episode and just so indicative of my skill and prowess as a chef.
wasting away again in Margaritaville.
Looking.
All right. Well, we've explored Mississippi with our tongues. We've explored Mississippi with our sniffers, with our ears. Now, let's explore Mississippi with our lookers. So I'm going to pass over the laptop to Stuart so Anthony doesn't have his grubby little paws on it.
All right. Just in case our fans at home are wondering if I'm okay, I'm absolutely fine. I've regained feeling in both sides of my face, and I'm no longer crying out of one eye.
You do look like a Harvey Dent Two-Face.
Oh, well, I feel great. Mississippi.
You just whisper, where is she? Okay, never mind. Let's keep going.
All right, Mississippi. We see it on that white background there. What a look. All right, let's move on to the next slide. There's a state outline. Guys, normally we kind of comment on the abstract view of it, and I think it's pretty fucking clear what this state outline looks like.
Yeah.
Marge Simpson.
Yeah, it looks a lot like Marge
Yes.
Simpson's head.
It's pretty incredible to me how many U.S. state outlines look like characters from The Simpsons.
Yeah, it's almost as if Matt Groening, man, what an artist.
What a genius. that
Absolutely. Jacob, is there anything else that you, growing up in the state, like associated the outline with, other than, of course, the famous Marge
guy.
herself?
When in middle school, I don't know if you guys had to draw your state in like elementary school. It looks like a guy's face, a profile to me. That's how I knew to get the hump for the delta and then come back in for the mouth.
Yeah.
Just kind of looks to me like a side profile of some man with a long face.
I see if you flip it upside down, you get the tail on the top. I think it looks like a little kitty cat.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
little kitty
Definitely.
cat,
It also kind of
sure.
looks like a damaged meat cleaver.
That was another one of my guesses too.
Speaking of Watchmen. Okay.
Alrighty. We can move on to the next slide unless anyone has any other comments on that beautiful state outline.
I love outlines.
All right. This is a rough flag here.
Ugh.
We have the state flag. It's a blue bar, a white bar, and a red bar, and then the Confederate flag in the corner. Just a full-on Confederate flag. Now, when I was looking up the information on the state flag, they were kind of pretending that wasn't just the Confederate flag. They were like,
of course.
oh, a blue,
Yeah.
yeah. They
I
were
bet
just
they're-
like,
yeah.
oh, a blue cross. Yeah, with
This
stars
whole
on it.
thing, this
Oh.
has been in our flag for generations.
That's right.
Oh,
About
God.
150 years.
Yeah, this
Weird.
flag is just a fucking piece of trash. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I
What do
agree.
you think of this flag?
It's a
representing
hot
your state?
garbage, and I've actually tried to get it changed. Like,
Oh,
really
yeah?
tried. Personally tried.
Wow.
I contacted people in the state legislature. I was like, if nobody's going to do it, I'll do it.
Did you redesign the flag?
I did a design, and nobody followed up. But,
What was the design?
Well, it was going to have a little more, clearly not stars and bars.
Mm.
And I was just going to stick maybe a magnolia in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Something a little more hospitable.
I mean, like an incredibly simple solution to a problematic flag.
A very clearly racist flag.
Yeah, this
yes.
fucking sucks.
It's not only racist, but it's also just really rude and offensive because, I mean, take out the Confederate flag, that's just the French flag, and they're mean.
Yeah, that is just the French flag, huh?
Yeah.
I don't fucking get this. I don't
Yeah.
get
Look,
why that's.
I don't fucks with this flag.
I would take a state seal or even just the word Mississippi on the
Yeah.
flag a million times over this. I think that this is really just regressive, and I think that at this point, clinging to a battle that you lost so long ago is just promoting really negative aspects about your state.
Yeah, and I don't want to have to be the one to say it, but nana, boo boo, haha, you lose. Fuck you guys.
Right.
Throw away your flag. You lost. That's
Now-
the whole point of it. God.
Now, I'm just curious, like, growing up in Mississippi, did you see the Confederate flag a lot? Like, whether it's on a bumper sticker or people flying it or not so much?
You would see it a lot on people's trucks on the back bumper, back windshield would be an entire just rebel flag.
You know, if there's ever another Civil War, the South is going to be able to haul so much stuff with all their trucks.
Those supply runs.
Yeah,
are
but
gonna be-
they won't be comfortable. Not like in our, Hyundais.
This flag needs to be redesigned, but let's haul our asses onto the next slide and see something a little more positive. A mockingbird.
Yay.
The state bird. A simple pick. He's just a gray guy who loves to make fun of other people's sounds.
A gray guy making fun of other people? Sounds like that alien from American Dad.
Yes. Roger that.
Oh my.
What do you think of the mockingbird? Do you see the mockingbird around at all?
The mockingbird is quite popular. You can see it pretty much anywhere in Mississippi. And you never know which one is the mockingbird because it sounds like other fucking birds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What a trickster.
Yeah, frequently you can hear the mockingbird going, I'm a bird.
Oh, I see. Mocking Morgan Freeman. I think I heard that.
Whoa.
That was a good one.
I thought
Anthony.
he was in studio for a second.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking
All right.
crazy.
I was like, where's your granddaughter, Morgan?
Jesus Christ. Tim, what do you think of the mockingbird?
Not a bird I would fuck. We've seen this bird before, so I don't know. Moving on.
All right, we can move on to the next slide and see that state flower. Is Tom Cruise in this? No. Well, perhaps a version of it. This is magnolia. A magnolia flower look like egg. White flower with yellow stamen.
It is.
And it's a very interesting shape. It's just kind of like a series of interconnected blooms that almost create like X's or like a firework burst.
This shot in particular is really, really beautiful, and I could see how like it could be made simplified and like symbolic and put on a flag like really easily and still be very identifiable.
Right.
Oh God! I'm just so mad that this is not on the
Great
flag.
pick for a state flower, though. Jacob, do you see a lot of magnolias in Mississippi?
You do. I didn't see a lot in North Mississippi just because that's more pine tree region, the lower Appalachian Hills.
Oh,
But you go anywhere else.
Appalachia?
Yeah,
Is
they
all the way in
start-
Mississippi.
They start right in that corner up there. Yeah.
Oh wow! So
it's
you
pretty
were
hilly.
you lived in like a hilly, mountainy.
Yeah, sure. The
Okay.
highest point in Mississippi is Mount Woodall, but it's 400 feet. So,
So you would say you
It's
lived in
not.
like a green hill zone.
yeah.
Gotcha.
There were rolling hills where everything else is pretty flat. Delta region.
Well, speaking of Watchmen, I think this flag kind of looks like Rorschach.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess everybody sees something different in it, Tim.
I
but,
guess that's true.
Should we move on?
Yeah. All right. All the people of Mississippi look up and scream, "Give us a better flag!" And Mississippi whispers, "No." All right, let's move on to the next slide. Here we see...
Was that a Watchmen reference?
Yeah, read
Okay.
the book, Tim. That's page 1.
Okay, cool.
This is Jackson, the state capital and the most populous city in the state. And what a shot it is. We see the Capitol building going high into the sky here. Definitely got like that classic domed top. And then it's got some trees smattered throughout. And then it looks like a pretty nice city behind that.
Yeah, dome top. Sounds like the kind of place Grayson would be having the time of his life.
Leave him alone.
Jackson... Jackson seems like a nice place. Have you ever
Sure.
been there? You spent any time there, Jacob?
I did. I lived for a year in Jackson, Mississippi.
wow.
That's where I finished up my school, actually.
Wow,
Where did you go to school?
Mississippi State.
Oh, right. You
Yeah,
said this earlier.
And Tim, if you would. Go Bulldogs!
Yeah.
Nice.
So what's the city like? A fun city, cool city?
The city itself is actually not fun. I don't find it fun at all.
Gotcha.
It closes down after 5, and I mean empties.
Yeah, I mean,
Yikes.
being the last state of prohibition, I doubt that there's like many bars at all here.
No, not really.
Well,
There's
I
like
mean-
one or two. Howlin' Miles is a really good place if you're ever in Jackson.
But like Prohibition ended like
No.
80 years ago. It's like they've had time to make bars.
Yeah, but it's Mississippi.
My hometown actually just passed a referendum allowing the sale of alcohol for the county. Like it had been prohibited.
Oh, it was a dry county?
It was a dry county up until like 2 weeks ago.
What
so
the hell?
In Indiana,
wild
you
state.
can't buy alcohol on Sundays, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's so interesting how a lot of these red states are always like, smaller government, stay out of my business.
Yeah.
Except for state legislator. You get to decide when I can drink.
The worst part is all of these cities, like the Tupelo, Starkville, Oxford, some of the cities are actually just run by Democrats.
But,
Oh,
So all the cities are nice
right.
and they have alcohol and fun things to do.
Well, that's like a lot of urban centers, right?
Yeah.
No matter the state, it's like the larger the population and the closer the density, eventually you're going to understand the woes of your fellow man and start
Right.
voting for the left. It's
Weird
crazy.
how that works.
Weird
yeah,
how that
weird.
worked.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the next slide and see another city.
Okay, boomer.
Here we've got Gulfport, the second most populated city in the entire state, and it is right on the coast. It actually looks like in this shot we have some piers extending out into the waters, and then just a smattering of green behind that long sandy beach line.
Wait, green? Sand? Golf? Port?
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems nice.
This is a beautiful shot. It reminds me of like a 70s film picture, and like I'm about to see Keanu Reeves start shooting at a surfer.
Hell yeah.
In his famous part in Point Break when he just guns down a surfer in the waves.
Yep. That's it.
An innocent
Right in the
man.
curl.
Jacob, you ever visited these nice sandy beaches down in the south?
I actually have. I've been to that casino in the picture, and
Whoa.
I've actually slept in that tree right there that I'm pointing at that no one can see.
Like a leopard.
Yeah.
What do you mean you slept in that tree?
Oh, I had a school project in this very picture, and
to sleep in a tree?
very much so. No, there was a project the next day, and instead of pitching for a hotel, I was like, I'll just sleep in the tree next to it.
Wow. Okay.
And I got a buddy of mine to come with me, and so we just like hammocked in the tree for the night.
Oh, wow. That sounds
Damn.
fucking awesome.
The
It was really
things-
good. The live oak trees there are just gorgeous. These overarching branches, so
Oh.
easy to hide in.
That's amazing.
My
Yeah.
goodness gracious.
That's idyllic.
What a southern lifestyle that is. I love that. I wish I lived in a place where I could like safely be like, I'll just sleep outside in the tree tonight.
Right?
I feel like if I slept outside in our tree, those birds who are always fighting would peck my eyes out, a la
Yo.
Prometheus.
That's so true. Those birds are ruthless to each other.
Ruthless and toothless, just got beaks.
Well, if no one has anything else to comment on Gulfport, let's move on to the next city. Here we have South Haven. And what an interesting shot this is. There's just a large water tower in the foreground and a line of trees in the background, and then a smattering of a residential area behind it.
By the way, I think this water tower is a national hero.
I think we have to censor it out. I don't know if we can show it. The NSA might come after us.
Anthony, do you want to explain our jokes so that the listener at home will laugh their freaking ass off?
Actually, I would like to encourage our listener to go to our Instagram page at Statesman Podcast so you can see the slide for yourself
Yep.
and decide whether or not you agree with Stu.
Those jokes are for Instagram followers only.
Yeah, you can go see Citizen 4 on Netflix somewhere, and you'll get the joke.
Hey, have you ever been to South Haven?
Now, this is one of the few places I don't think I have spent a night outdoors or anything. I've not been to South Haven.
I believe it. It doesn't look like there's
No.
much there.
It's a suburb of Memphis, if memory serves me correct.
Suburb of Memphis.
Like everything up there in DeSoto County just is a suburb of Memphis.
I could believe
Wow.
it. Tim's getting real close to the screen too. Tim, what'd you see?
Nothing. There's like nothing that
Yeah.
this place really has to offer except a really, really good whistleblower up at the top of a water tower.
Nope, was not pointing at that. I was talking about the
Oh,
road.
you're talking about that fucking highway.
Yes.
Thanks. Oh, fuck. I have to fucking... Jacob! Jacob, what fucking highway is that?
Probably Interstate 55.
Yeah, my favorite age.
55.
Yeah.
You and the other boomers out there, dude. Also, we're talking boomers. Jimmy Buffett, Edward Snowden.
We're in all the demographics.
Hell yeah, baby. 4 quadrants.
All right, well, let's hop onto the next slide. All right, here we've got Vicksburg National Military Park, a preserved 1,852.75 acre battlefield that served as the site of the siege of Vicksburg during the American Civil War. The Union siege, the Confederate stronghold in Vicksburg, lasted 47 days and crippled the Confederate war effort. This was the final piece of the famous Anaconda Plan, Ice Cube also in that movie, and helped secure the Union's victory. Today, the site houses a large memorial, reconstructed trenches and forts, and a military cemetery. In this picture, we can see the memorial there. It's kind of another dome building. It looks like white marble, and in the foreground, we see some old replicas of cannons and perhaps one of those trenches. Obviously, a big part of our nation's history kind of seems counterintuitive to like have such a memorial based here when you're still flying the Confederate flag on your like on your state flag. It's
super
pretty
gross.
weird because it's the memorial is clearly, commemorating the Union side, like the Union's victory here.
Yeah,
So
I think
it's just kind of counterintuitive.
I think
weird.
it's celebrating the whole. It's one of those like Southern memorials that's probably like, we remember everyone who died here. It doesn't matter who you were fighting for. You were still an American, even though like half of them were not Americans. They said they were not, and they broke away, and they nana nana boo boo, you lose.
And they wrote very specifically why they were leaving.
Yes, single reason,
People
one
will
reason.
Why will people not understand that they wrote it down?
Yeah,
They
it's on
wrote
like
it
paper and shit.
Like
Like
the second sentence in
they wrote it on a
Mississippi's.
worksheet just like us.
Yeah.
God. Well,
I appreciate the objectivity of it at the very least. Like, this is a historical place, probably put together by historians, probably not influenced by politics, and
Hopefully.
it's just
Yeah.
like an objective
And I think
piece
that,
of history.
I think that is one of the largest monuments
Oh, really?
to the Civil War.
Wow.
It's huge. That
It-
one's massive.
It's a very pretty building. I mean, it's kind of like a simple marble dome structure, but it looks really big going up to it.
Yeah,
Looks a lot like the Jefferson Memorial.
Yeah,
A little
I
bit.
was going to say like
Yeah.
the Grant's tomb kind of dealio.
Yeah, this definitely looks like Field Trip Central.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a day that you could spend walking around and seeing all the sights here.
Jacob, you like it a field trip?
I do like it, the field trip.
All right,
Hmm.
Anthony.
There are plenty of trees to sleep in on this slide if it's an overnight.
Spooky.
Let's move on to the next slide and continue on within Vicksburg and see a specific
Oh.
part.
Oh,
This
fuck
is the
yeah.
USS Cairo Museum, a separate museum within Vicksburg National Military Park focused on the USS Cairo, one of the first American ironclad warships.
Hell yeah.
It was constructed by the Union forces in 1861 and was used to capture Fort Pillow, the most comfortable Confederate garrison in Mississippi.
Up.
Wow.
The victory allowed the Union troops to continue on to capture Memphis. The remains of the ship can be viewed in their entirety with other exhibits about its history. And here we have a shot of some friendly folk walking around checking out the remains of that ship.
I'm loving all the high socks and khaki cargo shorts I'm seeing on those guys.
Yeah, it
Really
really looks
good
very
look.
cool.
And is that?
There is.
I didn't notice that, but Jacob, is there someone else visiting the ironclad?
There's clearly a lightsaber wielding man
I believe that's Kylo Ren,
photoshopped. into
leader
this.
of the First Order.
That
Correct.
would make any sense. This is the USS Cairo. Perhaps it was a misunderstanding.
He must be pretty upset about that. If anybody wants to know more about ironclad warships, watch the opening scene to 2005's Sahara with Matthew McConaughey. Great movie, very historically accurate, a fun one.
Oh my God.
Have you ever seen this ship in person?
I don't think I have, but I know that Vicksburg was a major port and a
Yeah.
huge part of the Civil War.
Mhm.
So it stands to reason that they would make this giant conglomeration of cannons.
Yeah, this thing seems like a fucking tank on the water. I would love to drive it really fast.
Tank on the water, fire out the sides. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I think that was an interesting shot. Let's move on to the next slide and continue learning about some of the military history. This is Ship Island. It's an island off the Gulf Coast of Mississippi that was split into two separate islands by a hurricane in 1969.
Jeez.
The islands were the site of an old military fort, Fort Massachusetts, which was built after the War of 1812 to fortify the coastline. Now the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers are working to rejoin the islands. They're going to pull them back together for some reason.
Well, because I believe it was called the Friendship Island before the storm broke it in half to just be the Friend Island and the Ship Island. But now, unification once again. Jacob, you ever been to this island?
I don't think I have.
You ever been to any island?
No.
Whoa.
I don't think I have.
Really?
No.
Wow.
Well, you're on Island Time at the Statesman podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here we
Getting
have
fed?
Fort Massachusetts. What the hell is with that name, y'all? What do you think?
What
is
year
going
did
on
you
there?
say? 1812?
That's pre-Civil War.
I think that was pre-Mississippi becoming a state.
I think
Yeah,
you're
I
right.
think that's
Wow,
correct
wow,
as well.
yeah, that's true.
I think-
Damn.
Fort Massachusetts, it was named after just one of the only states, right? Like back when Massachusetts was essentially like the hub of American culture. It would be like calling something like Fort New York now.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Fort New York.
You're a fan of Fortnite players in New York, all right? No, Ninja.
Well, if you haven't been to Ship Island, why don't we move on to another slide and check out Tishomingo State Park.
Love this place.
Is that the correct pronunciation? Tishomingo?
Tishomingo, yeah.
Nice. It's a 1,530-acre state park established in 1935. It's famous for its abundant sandstone outcroppings. The park is popular among tourists because it offers hiking trails, disc golf courses, rock climbing areas, camping areas, an Olympic-sized swimming pool that you can swim in outside, and canoeing and fishing.
Anthony, one more time, or I guess Jacob, what was the name of this place?
Tishomingo.
Oh, that's really, really close to Anthony's friend's Grayson's favorite things, tissues and manga. Okay, well,
I thought it was like a dating site for people who had allergies. Tissue mingle.
oh man.
So, Jacob, this is a gorgeous shot. You can see the fall colors very vividly here. It looks like there's a nice bridge in this shot. Have you been to the state park?
I have been to this state park many times. This is the famous swinging bridge
Oh, hell yeah.
that goes over the creek.
Is this a good place to kiss your honey?
It's a good place to kiss someone else's honey.
Yeah!
If you're a swinger. Yeah.
I was going to make that
Thank
same
you.
joke.
That's right.
Very cool, very cool. I'm part of the lifestyle as well.
And yeah, this is the foothills of the Appalachian Mountain where you can go rock climbing and just see a bunch of nature.
Oh, sweet. What are
Yeah.
your feelings on sandstone?
Very mute. It's a soft stone, I feel like. It's,
One of my favorite
yeah.
materials in Minecraft to build something interesting with.
Speaking of Minecraft, Marshmallow had a concert in it at some point, didn't he? Camden has killed himself. All right.
All right, let's move on to the next slide here. Here we have the Biloxi Lighthouse, a 61-foot lighthouse built adjacent to the Mississippi Sound in 1848. It became listed on the National Registry of Historical Places in 1973 and became an official Mississippi landmark in 1987. It is still standing today despite the fact that it was damaged during 5 separate hurricanes.
Jeez.
Another interesting fact about its history, it's been run by a woman for more years than any other lighthouse in the US. The years are not consecutive, but they started with the very first keeper, Mary Reynolds, in 1854.
Wow, that's dope as hell.
Yeah.
Look, we're running out of time, so I think I'll just mention it. There is very clearly the bottom section from the movie The Lighthouse on this picture of a lighthouse.
Oh, wow.
It is black and white. I was like, oh, the bottom is a different color than the rest of it. But no, I see little Robert Pattinson digging a hole for his muck or whatever he was doing.
Good piece of editing, huh? That's a great Photoshop job I should be proud of.
Yeah.
Wait, have you photoshopped other pictures?
No. Have you ever been to the Biloxi Lighthouse?
I have driven by it. There's a highway that runs, I think, right between it. I think both lanes are on either side of it, if I'm not mistaken.
And which fucking one is that?
What?
Which fucking highway did you drive on to go back to the
Jesus,
lighthouse?
I think that's I-10 down there.
Oh,
Yeah,
Tim's a
Yeah.
real highway head.
I can tell.
Yeah.
We'll connect later.
Just
Yes, we will.
Just like how interstates connected the entire world. I love this.
All right, let's move on to another Biloxi fixture, a huge waterfront casino called the Beau Rivage. It's owned by MGM Resorts International, and it was originally built in 1999 and was famously renovated in 2006 after sustaining extensive damage during Hurricane Katrina. It has over 1,700 rooms and 72,000 square feet of gaming space for Stu to play online. It's the tallest building in all of Mississippi.
I was
That's
going to
impressive.
mention, I thought it was the tallest building. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It looks taller than 400 feet. It might be the tallest point in Mississippi.
I don't doubt that 1 second, and you can easily count the floors.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I don't know if that's. Well, here's the thing. Let me ask you,
Mhm.
Jacob. It's right there on the shore. Ever considered jumping off the top of it and into that big blue ocean?
Ooh, you say blue. That muddy Mississippi dumps right there. That water is
Whoa.
disgusting.
Mudslide.
You cannot see 6 inches into that water. Ugh.
6 inches. That's a whole lot.
You said it was the Bon Rivage. I say Bon Voyage to my money at this place.
Hell yeah.
Oh, boy. All right.
All right, let's move on to the next slide. This is the Gulf Islands Water Park, a local favorite water park in Gulfport featuring a ton of family-friendly rides and attractions like giant water slides and calm wave pools, much like every other water park. It also features an attached adventure park with zip lining and obstacle courses. You can clearly see a bunch of families having big fun.
So, Jacob, have you ever been here?
I have not been here, but I have been to a place in Mississippi similar.
Man, I was going to say, somehow you're staying away from islands altogether.
It's something about it. I don't know what it is. It could be all that water and all those feet.
Well, you like slides?
I do like slides.
Sick. What about this slideshow?
I do like this slideshow.
You're
really
the first.
reminding me of
You are
home.
the first.
Wow. Hope I'm not the last.
I hope so too.
Have you guys ever peed in a pool?
Yes.
Yeah. Who hasn't?
No, I honestly don't think I've ever peed into a pool
Me
out of
neither.
fear.
Not
But I've
into
peed-
a
Into,
pool.
right. No.
Not from the edge of the pool.
You don't stand there going, hey guys, I gotta go to the
I
bathroom.
peed within a pool.
Oh, okay.
I've never done that.
Yeah, I've never done that either.
Fully
I have
cool.
peed into a
Alright.
watering hole. I was in Austin, Texas, and I was like maybe 13.
Do you mean a bar?
No, I went to like this like little watering hole next to the hotel. For some reason, that's like what their pool situation was like over at that hotel, and I had to pee really badly, and so I swam to the bottom of it, which was my first mistake, and then I peed.
You peed your way up?
I peed my way up, and it was so warm.
Did it propel you out of the water?
Yeah.
You just visibly shivered.
My fucking stream is powerful. I'm
well.
pissing hard from Mississippi.
Well, thank God you were face down in that water and you went straight up.
Yeah,
Or
I
else things
did.
could have
Would
gone
have
south.
sent you to the bottom, drowned in your own Mississippi PPP.
Camden says we have to move on unless we're talking about marshmallow. Let's go on to the next slide. Stu, don't get too excited. This is Longwood. So probably about 6 inches. Apparently nicknamed Nuts Folly. It is an antebellum mansion located in Natchez, commissioned by Cotton Kingpin Hauler Nutt in 1859.
Did someone mention Notch?
Yeah, did they
Camden, calm down, Minecraft.
Yeah, they built this in Minecraft.
Why are we looking at this? Who
Wait,
cares?
So did I pronounce that right? Natchez?
Natchez,
Natchez.
Mississippi.
Okay.
Naturally.
Natchez.
All those, you got to draw out your A's if you're in Mississippi.
Hell yeah.
So it was left permanently unfinished due to the start of the Civil War and Nutt's pneumonia death. The mansion's iconic octagonal shape and Byzantine-inspired dome have made it a popular tourist attraction. It was officially added to the U.S. National Register of Historic Places and declared a National Historic Landmark in 1969. And it is believed to be haunted with plenty of blood-curdling ghost stories.
Permanently unfinished, sort of like our Edge fan over here, Tim.
Have you ever been to Longwood?
I don't think I've ever been here.
Damn.
No.
I think this is a
beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very
I guess.
interesting place. It's just an interesting shape, a big building, and
It's
you
very
know,
extravagant
yeah,
for
definitely like
Mississippi.
old antebellum style.
And not a curve to it.
Let's just go
Look
ahead
at
and
those
move on,
lines.
I think.
Yeah, let's move on. Here we have one more building,
Yeah.
the Elvis Presley birthplace. We've already talked a whole bunch about Elvis, so we don't have to talk about the man's life, but check out that building. It's a shotgun-style house. No pump action on that bad boy. It's in Tupelo, previously owned by Vernon and Gladys Presley. Now it's a museum dedicated to the history of Elvis's family and his early life. The museum site also includes the church where Elvis's family worshipped. So put your hands together for the music and put your hands together for Christ. What do you think about this like little home? Shotgun style means that it's all facing forwards and backwards. There's not much there's not much horizontal
Yeah.
depth to the home.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the Farnsworth House, if you've ever seen that little piece of architecture. It's actually quite beautiful. And no, I'm not talking about Futurama.
Thank you.
Oh,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is a fine house. Definitely looks very, very tiny, and I wouldn't want to live here with too many brothers and sisters. Luckily, Elvis, an only child. His twin brother, of course, dying at birth.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Have you ever visited?
I've visited this place many times. It's a quick visit, but it's easy to
Right.
just go stop by and
Oh, that's right.
And
Look
there's
around.
the swing.
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
talking
there's
about
the
sitting on
swing
the
you can
swing.
just sit
There's
on.
the swing!
There's the stoop. Yeah. So, a different kind of swing and that won't be censored on TV. Let's move on to the final slide. You said Elvis didn't have many brothers. Are you sure about that? There's a ton of them in this picture. Here we have the goodbye slide. Sip, sip, hooray. Anybody care to break down what we're seeing on this slide?
Not particularly.
Clearly the world record for most Elvises in one room.
Is it though? There's like 7 of them. I see the world record plaque, but like, is this really the most there's ever been?
I know that Tupelo hosts an Elvis lookalike contest as well as a concert where each one comes up and sings a song.
Wow. Is there a
That's
comedy
very
club in
popular.
Tupelo called Tupelo LOL?
There should be.
Is that? Did you add? Is that Musafa? Did you add
Mufasa.
Mufasa? Excuse
Yeah.
me. Did you add Mufasa because he's the king of the savannah?
No, I added it because James Earl Jones is from Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
Cool,
Oh, yeah.
cool.
There's some other Mississippi friends in here.
Yeah,
Stu, why don't you list them all?
Well, we see Oprah. Who is this on the left? She looks familiar.
Like a Nickelodeon or Disney star?
Lacey Shabert.
Oh, you mean Lacey Chabert, the original voice of Meg Griffin on Family Guy, who was fired after season 1?
You would know that.
Is that true?
That's true.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we have, I don't know who that is off the top of my head.
Think
The football player?
touchdown reception records.
Touchdown reception records.
know
Rice?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jerry.
that's right. Yeah, guys, what a collection of people. And what does it say on Mufasa's side there?
Jacob, why don't you say that alive and say it with clean audio so that we can isolate it and put it online?
Sure. It says in all caps, Elvis is alive.
Wow.
You know who else is alive?
Chappie.
God.
All right.
damn it.
Well, we're running very low on time, but I
God
think we
damn
really
it.
had to break down that slide just because it's so beautiful.
Look at the sequins in that.
Jacob, what would you rate my slideshow when it's all said and done out of the 5 Spice Girls?
You reminded me a lot of what I had forgotten about Mississippi was just all the greenery, all of the just beautiful beaches. I'd
Oh,
give
yeah.
that a 5 out of 5.
Woo!
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys
I'm
did
loving
really
it.
good on your segments today.
Yeah, 5 out of 5 for Anthony, 19 out of 20 out of the entire episode for all the Spice Girls. Stu, what the hell, man?
Sorry, I was missing one baby spice.
We've explored Mississippi with our eyes. We've explored Mississippi with our tongues, with our sniffers, and even our listeners. And I'm not talking about you across the microphone, listener. I'm talking about our ears. We're going to explore Mississippi with our hearts. So we're going to go around in the circle, starting with Anthony, to Jacob, to Stuart, then to myself, to see what Mississippi does for us. Anthony?
I think there's natural beauty in Mississippi that I would like to see, but I think that it is, unfortunately, held back by its backwards people. I think not everybody from there, by a long stretch of the word, is backwards, but there is a very clear population who's full of hate and has a lot of growing to do. And I think that's a real fucking shame. That flag is inexcusable. I think that there is some very interesting history there, but a lot of it is really, really ugly and disgraceful. It has taken a couple steps forward, but I'm worried about it. It's a state that I worry about because I frankly don't trust it a whole lot based on its historical record. I think that there's a lot that's much more interesting than I would have initially realized, but it's not somewhere I'm necessarily motivated to visit until it gets a little, more current. But I think I was pleasantly surprised by a lot of what I found out.
Jacob.
Yeah, I agree. There's just so much about Mississippi that needs to catch up with the 20th century and then catch up to the 21st. To me, when I think back to Mississippi, I think of good, happy times, good food, good people. I've heard the term velvet ditch being described for Mississippi, which is a comfortable place that you can't get out of.
Ooh.
And that's
Hell
just how I feel about Mississippi. It can eat you up or it can make you feel awful. It's a really nice place to go visit. I wouldn't want to live there again. I wouldn't want to tell people to go hang out openly and do whatever you want, but because it does have some things it needs to fix. It reminds me of a good time, good music, And I don't know, I have a soft spot in my heart for Mississippi. I'm glad I grew up there. It gave me a real perspective on what is right and what is wrong and how to approach that with other people. It is the hospitality state for a reason. There are so many nice people. Sometimes, yes, it is fake. They're putting on a face and a smile just to get you out the door. But a lot of them in their heart don't think twice about what they say. And that's really the problem, is they just don't think ahead of the consequences, their actions. It is a velvet ditch to me. I love it. I hate it. All in one.
Stuart.
I'm going to use a pretty extended metaphor here, but Jim Henson was born in Greenville, Mississippi. And I think that Mississippi is a lot like one of his creations, the Muppets, right? Above and on the surface, it's this bubbly, kind, kid-friendly, like, come on down, it's hospitality, it's nice. That velvet you're talking about, that's the material. But follow that Muppet down, and in the darkness, you'll find that it's controlled by a much stranger force. Whether that be racism in the past or racism currently still, it's built into the culture. And unfortunately, unless it's brought into the light, it will keep controlling that puppet from down below. And don't get me wrong, I love the Muppets. I think the Muppets have done a lot of great things, and there's a lot of fun Muppet movies to watch. But you got to remember that Muppets in Space is a movie as well. And not all Muppet things are good. So I hope in the future that Mississippi can come out of that black cauldron and forge a rainbow connection with the future. Tim?
Mississippi reminds me of my mother because in the 5th grade, I had a super hard time with spelling. And one of the first words that she taught me to spell was Mississippi by singing the old song, MISSISSIPPI. And I still remember exactly how she said it. And it's very, very... The word to me is very calming, but this state is very unnerving. It's quite upsetting when you read like some of the actual facts and the demographics of Mississippi. It's the poorest state of all of the 50 states. It's one of the unhealthiest. It's like 30% of its population is obese. And all of that obesity, according to the Wikipedia article on Mississippi, stems from childhood and carries forth into adolescence and carries forth into into adulthood. And then the cycle is repeated by the same exact thing where people stay poor and have to feed their children like fatty stuff, which makes them more obese and feeds into the shitty healthcare system that we have. Mississippi is like the embodiment of, and I hate to say this because I don't want to condemn like everybody who lives there, but it's the worst part of the United States. It's everything that the United States is bad for.
Wow.
It really sucks. I mean, like the United States has wronged, or Mississippi may have wronged itself. Mississippi may have wronged the United States, and we're not looking at it. We're not looking at that state as a place that needs to improve or a place that can improve. We're just looking at it as like, that's just how it is. And that fucking sucks. But you know what? Mississippi may have missed the mark, but goddamn, we're all peeing ourselves on this podcast by how much we're laughing at it. So if you have any questions or concerns about the great 50 states of the statesman, reach out to us on Twitter at statesmanpod, on Facebook and Instagram at statesmanpodcast, or by email at statesmanpodcast@gmail.com. Please like, rate, subscribe, or share the show with your friends because it helps the show out a lot. Jacob, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and talking about your home state.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
It was absolutely lovely. You're a very nice young man.
Yeah.
Aw. My mom would be proud.
Truly an outlier of what I was all saying. You are a very kind and a well put together young gentleman.
Yes, and I think if Mrs. Owens is listening, and I hope she is, hello.
Hi, Mom.
Do you have anywhere that we can find you online or any shows that you'd like to plug of you going around Chicago?
Oh, I don't think we have any shows coming up. I'm doing a little indie group called Citrus.
Nice.
And you can find me on social media at Jacob Owens. If you spell Jake up, Jakeup.
Okay.
And that'll be where you can find me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anthony, Stuart, you have anything to plug before we go?
Yeah, obviously Anthony's got something very important, but before he says that, something of even more importance. Guys, please follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Stuart Highcar. I'm talking about the hottest tents you've ever been in, and I'm including that 13-year-old tent trip in the camping woods you took. Remember that one, Tim? Sweaty, hot, hard to forget. Follow me for good content. My Instagram, you won't be able to see stuff until you actually follow me. There's one video on there, really good content, really good stuff. Please follow me. Anthony?
Listeners, I have some rough news, and this is hard for me to say. It might be hard for me to get through, but this Saturday, the 30th, is going to be the final performance of Public Decay of Affection. If you have seen it previously, or if you haven't seen it yet, you absolutely have to buy tickets. We want to sell this out. My whole family will be there, and it's going to be a pretty intense show. I'm going to go harder with my characters than I ever have before, and it's going to be an emotional one to watch, even more emotional than the other shows, and it's already built to be a very emotional time. So I think that you will have a lot of fun, and you will really regret if you do miss it. So jump on those tickets. They probably will sell out. Once again, promo code Skeleton for half price. Don't miss this show. It's going to be really, really tough to see it go.
Anthony, the show is, and to all the listeners, it is one of the greatest shows that I've ever seen. And, you've spent a year basically working on this with this team, and I am incredibly proud of you.
Yeah.
You've really fucking kicked ass.
A lot of people have been calling it the next Hamilton, and I think you've earned that.
Yeah, it just feels good to be in the room where it happened.
Wow. Well, on behalf of my junior
Yikes.
statesman, Anthony Rossi, and Stuart Highcar, I'm your elder statesman, Tim Ferrari. State positive.
Grayson playing with his Mississippi-penis.
Hey, Camden, do you want to say anything to end the episode? Oh, no, you're too busy watching another Marshmallow vid.
Soldier Boy, tough. Hey, I got this new dance for y'all called the Soldier Boy. Just gotta punch, then crank back 3 times from left to right. Soldier Boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it? Why me roll? Why me crank that Soldier Boy? That Superman.